Right.
Hi, Nick.
Hello. Sorry about that. Lost power this morning.
Oh,
Oh,
you're good.
hey everybody. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh,
How are
guys.
we all doing?
Hey, good morning.
Hi,
Top of the
Ben.
morning.
Morning.
Hi,
Good
Chip.
afternoon.
Where's Chip?
She's at the office with my darling. I'm all
Oh,
alone. It is sad.
hi, Amelie.
Hi. Happy to see you.
Great to see you too. Great to see everyone.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? Mark, I can't see or hear anybody.
Open your
Uh,
eyes, friend.
Did they, connect the audio? Because that happens to me sometimes.
I'm the last person to be answering that question. I have no idea.
No, no, don't worry.
I barely got
We'll take
logged
care
in
of
this
you.
morning.
Don't worry, Mr. Caveman. We have you. Fine. In response to your question, mate, all good. I had a very, very boring risk assessment meeting this morning. I'm still crying inside, but I made it.
Well done, surviving that.
I was chased
Oh,
by geese this morning on my walk, so that was my
Cobra
excitement.
chickens.
Cobra chickens, yes.
Yeah, they're mean.
Oh, they are little bastards.
Not as bad as turkeys.
No, turkeys are mean.
Yeah.
Very mean.
30, almost 30 people in here?
Oh, here in North Georgia, we all survived the rotational clouds.
Good deal.
Most everybody has power. Nobody, not a significant amount of damage.
These form check. We can get these, 30 people right out of the gate. That's pretty good.
Keen.
There we go. Everybody see that all right?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
I had to go through and this morning just because some people haven't missed one. I have to just for people that are new, any newcomers, if we have any in here. Right now we're holding the cap at 2 videos per person per submission, just because there was like 90 some in here, and it was simply because some people did 4 or 5, 3, which makes it extends the extends it significantly. So if you saw that you submitted a bunch and you don't see all of them getting covered, that is why. Simply just for conscious of everyone's time. That's all. Um, so now we have 73. Okay. So Rodrigo looks like he's doing some cleans and press. This is good. Good position. Coming off the hips. Well done. Good rack position. Throw and catch. Rodrigo, fantastic. This is fundamentally pretty good. I mean, we could really dive into and nitpick this because of just how efficient you can make a clean and press. But overall, I'm really happy with how he's doing these. He's catching the bar as it slows down, and he's attacking it underneath it to receive. So,
help it
dip,
with
catches,
kids.
and then dip and drive. So, Rodrigo, the one thing Your clean overall looks pretty good. It's a really good part about this movement for you. I think you potentially, if we took you slightly, ever so slightly wider once you cleaned into your press position, so now you'd stop, pause, and you take your feet out an eighth inch, ever so slightly. Reason being, and again, we're talking about a slight adjustment. See how far forward our knees have to come over our toes. It creates this forward sagging motion. We want that hip travel to be vertical, and it would be much easier to see from the side position, because you'd be able to see that plane. I want your knees to go kind of out more so. So when we get into such a heavy amount of flexion in the ankle, what happens is we have to come forward, versus if we get slightly wider, watch when I dip, I'm in a completely vertical driving plane. So finding that sweet spot on width is going to look a little bit different for everyone in regards to hip mobility and whatnot. But we want a nice vertical travel, and we want to pop. We want big but fast leg drive. So there is a sense in too deep where you can't get the momentum and the violence that needs to go into the leg drive. So I say we get you slightly wider, really get those knees firing out so those hips can travel vertically. Overall, not a bad clean and press start at all. Eric Plowman doing some deadlifts. Okay. Not a bad start, Eric. This is, you're not far off here. Your position isn't that bad. It's a couple of things we're going to need to do is get you into that lumbar neutral position. You see this flexion right here, and part of it is you're really far over. So that bar is here. We need to adjust your body around the bar. So the cat-cow exercise that I talk about on here to no end is simply getting from here in flexion to here in neutral. So I'm turning my tailbone to the sky and pushing my belly button towards the floor. With that being said, with your position, we're far over the bar. So if the bar is in my hand, you see how far past my shoulders are? So that's why your hips are coming up and then you're hinging, versus if we get you back into that midfoot and heel. So now I have a straight line. I drive up and finish with extension simultaneously in one together motion. I don't want you to think about picking this bar up. I want you to think about pushing the floor away. But we're just going to tinker with your position till we get that pull looking very connected together. With that being said, not a bad start at all, man. Well done. Hal and Michelle. Let's see. Looks like Hal's doing some squats. How we're a bit high here, so we need to get you lower, especially with you powerlifting. We need to really get your squats down to depth in training consistently. So it is literally the last thing we want to do is get a red light because of depth, all that work. So yeah, you need to be more patient with that depth. We need to get you down. Sit lower than you think you need to. You see how your depth stops when you start to fold? It's very common. Right there, there's a subtle little folding action right at the bottom. Your hips stop descending. We need to get you sitting back into that midfoot. Heels get a little bit light as well. Sitting down into that midfoot, keeping your glutes and hamstrings loaded all the way down into the hole, building that tension. So sit lower than you think you need to. And we can even start by doing, if you working up, if you either have a box or a band, like say you're working with a lighter weight where you know failure isn't, we're building technique. You drop those arms lower, run a band across so the bottom of your butt cheeks kind of kiss it as just a marker of depth, or a box that you're not sitting and offloading onto. Again, you're just kind of kissing it as a depth marker, so we have physical feedback on where our depth lies. Michelle looks like she's burying her squats. Michelle's right there. So one thing, Michelle, I think the shoes that Hal wears, I think you would benefit from that heel elevation, because this fold, as you descend, you maintain great position through mid-range of your squat. But as we get to the bottom, you also tend to fold slightly. So when you're coming back out, you're really having to bring the bar back. So I want you actively inputting. It looks like we could get more tension in this upper back. So I want you actively inputting into the bar the whole way through the rep. So when you brace, you squeeze that back together, boom, and we're descending, we're driving slightly back into the bar. And then when we get down to our depth and we fire up out of the hole, we're firing up into our bar with our entire body, not just standing up with our legs. Your position in general looks pretty good. I think this is just more so of an activation and getting everything fire at once. Matt Shepard, deadlift. Out front. Yep. Once that bar came to you, you were in a great position. That second rep was on the money. So Matt, for you, what we really need to get you aware of is where you're at in relation to the barbell on every rep, because you're coming down in different spots, which is fine, but we got to start from the same spot. So if you look at this first rep, look how out front you are. You're over the end of your toes. Look at that. You input and the bar rolls towards you. Your second rep here, nailed bar path. Look how much faster it came off the floor. There was way less time till that bar broke the ground. Third rep, a little out front. So what I want you to start doing is looking down and seeing when you approach the bar and you step under and you stand in your position, find a spot on your shoelaces, whether it's the second, third, fourth eyelet down on your shoes, that you get that bar at that gets you to where you were in that second rep every single time. The other thing is these look kind of spongy. I'd rather you deadlift in socks or something flat and hard. So we aren't sacrificing any stability. Your pull position is actually fantastic. This is great. You've got great levers for a deadlift, man. You've got long arm. The short femur puts you in a position where you can get leverage very early in your favor. So a lot of potential just leverages wise in your favor here that could make for really big deadlifts in the future for you, which is great. Some people, guys, whether it comes to benching, squatting, deadlifting, people are different proportions, femur length, torso length, arm length, that go into why sometimes certain lifts come more naturally to you. You might see your squat progressing faster, or your deadlift just naturally progressing faster, or your bench. Part of it's technique, part of it's just where your lever advantage is. Example, I've got long arms. I've got like a 6'1" wingspan and I'm 5'9", but I also have a long torso, which makes me great at those odd objects, the stones. I have a big field here to pull it into, and I can get all the way around them, which naturally gives me some advantageous to leverage and manipulate an implement. Deadlift, the long arms help. Short femur. You see typically people excel in squat with a short femur. When you see people that are typically prone to folding, you'll see a longer femur. And the reason is their hips are further away from that action point. So if this is our knee and this back here's our hip, the closer we get, the less leverage the weight has on us. So typically when people are folding, they're further away from that midfoot. And so they have to fold further to get the bar over to get that midfoot, because the hips and the glutes and that center is further back than someone with a short femur. And it doesn't mean, oh, I'm bad at squatting because of my legs. Anyone can overcome this. And I wanted to clarify on that because Matt is just in a great spot because he is got great proportions for deadlift. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably one of his better lifts, or if it's not, it will progress very naturally for him just because leverage advantage is in his favor when it comes to his own body. So well done, Matt. All right, Colin. We didn't fall off. You did the little rollback method. I like it. That looked good. Where's the bench press? You getting on the bench looked much more controlled here. So you're basically doing like a reverse sit-up. We're creating that core engagement versus trying to flop back and fall off. So it looks like this could work for you if we keep after it. So I love seeing this for you. Tish, squat, front and side view. Okay, this is what I requested of her last week. Depth looked better at the start there. We're starting to get shallow. There we go. Forced it down. Yeah, let's see the front. She's like, fucking, I ain't setting this thing down. I'm just going to turn. I don't blame you. So this is the front view I requested. So there's a couple reasons why I requested a front view from Tish, is because from the side, she has some flat-footedness. So if we look at the ankle angle here, there tends to be some instability. And what I wanted to avoid was any sort of knee collapse, which would then amplify that rolling inward. So I wanted to make sure she was in line. It's not that I thought anything catastrophic was happening, but I wanted the full view versus her. See how light we are on the outside foot comparatively to how loaded we are on the inside foot. So Tish, what we're going to do when you squat, not only are you going to push for a little bit more depth, but I want you, when you get in position and you squeeze your butt and you brace right before you descend, I want you to actively pull the floor apart with your feet. Your feet aren't going to move, but what that's going to do is it's going to force a more equal load and an engagement out here on the outside of your hamstrings, IT band, all that stuff. You're going to feel all the stuff on the outside of the leg light up, but it's going to force a more dispersion into your feet. So we aren't going to, it could help with some of this potential instability that you may have within the ankle. The other thing to do to train this is very specific, and it will be some people with flat feet or flatter feet, they're not used to generating rigidity in their ankle and in their foot. And there's different types of raises. Some kind of look like a calf raise. One of them, it looks ridiculous, but you'll use like a barbell or an SSB, and you'll literally go down in a squat position all the way down. And what it looks like, if everyone can see my feet, is I roll out and down and then up and in. up and out. And what I'm doing is I'm training my foot to force rigidity and stability into that arch, into that ankle, and forcing a ton of stability work and strengthening the foot. Part of the reason I train barefoot a lot. I have strong feet. I rarely have foot issues. And it also helps when we're trying to move with any sort of load. Being able to generate rigidity and stiffness and tension through the foot is a super big asset too. If you've got to pick up something heavy in your life and being able to accelerate with that. So I don't think we're there yet. I think we need to figure out, input some of these cues I just gave you, Tish, on your foot angle looks good. This means that we're going to get our glutes into it. Really squeezing your butt at the top, pulling the floor apart with your feet. You're going to feel the outside of the leg light up. And I want to see how that looks. See if we can get you a little bit more equally loaded through the whole foot and see how that progresses. Barrett, RDL with feet pointed out. There we go. Okay. So last week, I noticed Barrett was naturally a little bit more pigeon-toed. And if anyone doesn't understand the difference in glute activation, I challenge you, even right now, on or off camera, stand up, point your toes in, try and squeeze your butt. Just try and squeeze it. And then point your toes out and try and squeeze it and see what naturally occurs. I bet you when you go simply just from pointing in to rotating them out, you're going to feel some glute activation. So what I wanted to do is get her a little bit more glute dominant in these RDLs. And Barrett, these look great, actually. This was a great adjustment for you. And it was simple, it was easy, it was virtually immediate. I really want you to push those hips as far past your heels as possible, even if your toes get a little bit light. That's okay. I really want to push for that stretch reflex in the glute and in the hamstring. And I think you are absolutely capable of pushing weight a little bit here. I think you're a little bit stronger than you think. And you don't need to be as cautious here as you're being. We've got a nice neutral back. This is okay. This is great. I think you're ready to load that up a little bit further. Danita. Looks like deadlifts. Okay. Well, something just sprung a leak because my ceiling's dripping, so that's awesome. I'm sorry, got distracted by my ceiling dripping.
You're a pirate. You like water.
Not coming from my ceiling. Danita, we're slightly out front. So what I mean by that is, you see how when you pushed forward with your knees in position, you see how that bar slightly kicked? Look at our position change. Good. Out front. And as soon as that bar breaks that plane, see how that swings back to you? As soon as it came above the floor, you kicked it forward, picked up, swung back. So it means when you pulled into position, you are pushing the bar away. So partly is due to our hip and knee angle. So we increased our knee flexion by how you pulled in tension. And your mechanism for pulling in tension is fine. But it might be a little too much. So if we have to then get into so much knee flexion, this angle right here, I just pointed at it like you can see my fucking screen like an idiot. I'm over here like, look at that. This angle in relation to shin and foot, you increased this angle. So we want to slightly bring the hips from here to probably somewhere in here. That's going to suck your knees back a little bit, and it's going to bring you back in. We need to get you back So that's what I mean by out front. Because that bar, look, now your body had to pull back into position. So we need to basically descend in this position now. When I watch. Danita, looks like bench press. Overall, not bad. It's hard to see bar path from this angle. But one thing I want you to be conscious of is when you unrack, there's a process, just like a squat. You come up, you brace, you come up, you walk out, you brace, you descend. Same thing. You brace, you unrack, you come out, brace, tight back, proud chest, drive to the bra line, and drive back up towards your eyes. So this is still a process all the same from unrack to the first rep. It's hard to see what's going on with the shoulders here because it's a little cut off. But if I slow it down, see how you are almost pressed out the shoulders. You almost pull your shoulders apart to finish the rep. The rep stops here. I don't have to press any further here. So we're here, proud chest, slight arch, driving within that plane. So we keep our back supporting our shoulders. That was 3, so I'm gonna skip it. I'm sorry. But I gotta hold that line. Richard, looks like he's deadlifting. Good. Okay. Second rep was even better. It slightly was more connected from start to finish versus leg drive than hinge. So with this, overall, he's got much better positioning than he's ever had. He's progressed. He's come such a long way with these. So what I want to see out of your deadlift now, Richard. Let's see if I can get to the moment it pulls. See how our leg drive's finished and we're still so far over?
Yeah.
Part of that is I think we might have to bring your hips. We might be a little high in the hips now. Our hip height is almost equal with our shoulder height, which means we can get more leg drive. So it's literally going to go from here. And I don't want you to bring your hips all the way down to here. So then they're shooting up in the air and you're all out of position. We're going to make a very fine adjustment. We're going to go from here to like here. That's it. That is it. We're going to sit into it and push back into our glutes a little bit more. So our leg drive times and we deadlift like this versus standing up, our leg drive finishing, and then us having to pull with our back to finish the lift entirely. So it looks like a connected hinge pattern versus a leg drive then hinge.
Got it. Thank you. I know previous to this video, I was putting my hips too low, so I was trying to come back up. And so
no, you made the right you made the right correction. But this is the hard part of position is the big motor skill change is actually easy. This fine-tune shit is hard because it's such a small little change that it's hard to feel. And it's hard to make every single rep find that position. Even me, if I do a set of 5, I bet 1 or 2, I'm slightly out of position, ever so slightly with my hips compared to my ideal or perfect hip position. So, but I want you hunting for it every single time, getting down, letting them drop just a little bit more, pulling in tension, and then firing. And what we'll see, the difference will be how when the hinge happens is when we get it right. You'll look at it. So I'd save this video for future for yourself. So you can then, when we find that position, you'll see what I'm talking about. And if someone else's deadlift Let's see. April's deadlifting. Let's see. Let's see if hers doesn't. No pressure. So she's doing a deficit. Okay, but it was still what I was trying to prove. So if you look how her hinge kind of looks like it's happening all in one motion. Keep in mind, she's got a much longer way to go because of the deficit. So it looks a little bit later, but that's the nature of deficit. But if you look how the leg drive isn't finished super early, whereas we could be getting, you see how leg drive's done. Virtually right there. You're almost all the way extended, and you're only 3 inches off the floor. So now all of this, glutes, hamstrings, lower back, all of this has to work in overtime to get that bar to continue moving.
Got it.
Whereas
Holy fuck.
with April's, her leg drive, legs still right there. But look how far off the ground she is. Granted, she has a, I don't know, 3-inch, 2-inch handicap with the plates that add a little bit more distance. But she's in the same position and she's above the knee, which is where you should end up when you start primarily using the lower back, glutes, and hamstrings. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. I appreciate that cue. That's something I've been missing.
Yes, sir. April, these look fantastic.
I felt like that my bar is swimming a little bit, and I think it's because it's the deficit. But how can I keep that a little bit more solid? That bar, like right there. You see how it's like swinging back towards my shin just a little bit.
Yeah,
And
so what's happening is watch the line from shoulder to fist. That rep didn't, but your shoulder was directly over your fist. Let's go back to earlier in the set.
Yeah, especially the first one. And this was the fourth set, but I just can't keep that bar still on deficits.
So as you pull, part of it is going to be lat engagement.
Okay.
But the other part of it is alignment. So if you look here, ever so slightly, where's the first rep? There we go. As you break, you're rolling up.
Yeah.
Now, the shoulders get slightly, ever so slightly in front of the bar because of the roll forward. And what continues to happen is then the bar, in turn, swings out. And then as you get higher in the rep, it swings back towards you. This is so hard to see because it's such a quick part of the lift. And it's not even terrible. So I don't want to spend an overwhelming amount of time on this because it's not, your speed doesn't change.
It's fine. It didn't feel right. And so it might be hard to see, but I know what you mean.
You're also coming down way far away. Look at the space between the barbell and your legs here. So
yes.
you're out front.
Yeah.
Then you bring it in, and then it does this.
Yeah.
So we need to get you into that position before you pull. So working on keeping that bar in a position where it's close, but not too close so it doesn't swing out, and yet not too far away so it doesn't swing in, and then you have this pendulum.
Yeah. It's only happening on the deficit, but it would just, it bugged me.
It makes sense because it's a deadlift, but it's still a foreign position.
Okay.
So I would just kind of keep conscious of where the bar is over your foot. So we're going to have much more knee angle because we have to fold down further. So it's not going to look like a typical deadlift because of that. So I want you to kind of let this cook, be conscious of it, not make any big corrections, but just be conscious of the alignment of shoulder to bar line and pay attention to that when you review your videos in your training session.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Heat action rack pull. Good. Heavy rack pulls. Nice hard input without jerking on the bar. Look at that lockout. That's what I want to. This is what I want to see out of your rack pulls, folks. Boom. Just hips. It breaks. Hips accelerate to the bar. That's what rack pulls are for. Overloading the top half of the deadlift because we're naturally in a better position there, and really using these glutes to finish the lift. Well done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Franzi, deadlift with socks. So she dropped the super squishy footwear. This is good.
Yeah, hi. As you said.
Strapping in.
Yeah.
You kind of match your plates right now. You know, the colors.
Yes.
Good position. A little bit of jerk on the bar. So, Franzi, you spend a lot of time down there.
Yeah.
And I know part of it you're getting strapped in.
Yeah.
But after you're strapped in, we want to get your feet set. We want to find position, pull in tension, and lift.
Yes.
All this thinking from, let's see, you strapped in, got set, pulled in. So we're virtually in position. So 35 seconds. I mean, you spend. Where is it?
Yeah.
You spend 20 seconds
Yeah.
down there sitting, waiting, and thinking.
And breathing.
That's like a whole set.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's going through your head here? What is running through your head? What is taking you so long to be in the hole for that long?
First, to be honest, I try to breathe in a lot of time in my stomach,
Okay.
to feel it, that I have this, like my checklist, tuck, 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 and also, of course, the shoulders. And then, of course, sometimes, yeah, it is just, yeah, you're right. It's thinking if I have everything right in position.
So what I want you to start doing, if you're gonna use straps, that's fine. So when we strap in, we get in position,
Yeah.
I strap in like this. So I can go here, strap in, then I work my feet in. It's
Yeah.
just easier for me. And then I get my air here.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, pull in, fire.
Okay.
So all this time spending down in tension, holding, waiting, we're losing ground.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yes.
on your workup sets, when you're
Yeah.
working up to your workout weight, your working set weight, that is
Yes.
time to drill. Technique, your cues, everything. And when it comes to our cues, if you notice how I pulled in, my whole checklist, I do all at once.
Yeah.
So when I pull in that tension, I brace, and then as I pull myself into the bar, I'm snapping the bar, getting my lats, and turning my tailbone up to the sky,
Yeah.
and I'm pushing myself down into my glutes and creating that
Yeah.
tension. When I feel that tension, that makes my brain go, we're there, I drive. I don't wait.
Okay. Okay.
So you sitting and doing this pause under slight tension is kind of like you're starting your rep off with a
Yes.
pause.
Yeah, that's true. Totally.
Versus we need to get you confident, not just good. And confidence comes with reps, but we need to train your setup the way you need to pull. So if you're training and you're taking this long before every first rep, that's why it's going to carry over.
Yeah.
So we need to get you used to getting down, not in a hurry, but with a purpose.
Yeah. Yes.
We don't need 20 seconds to set up. We don't.
Yes.
I mean, I could have tied both my shoes and
Yeah.
and pulled on the bar before you got your first rep in. So I want to streamline things for you.
Yes.
And I want you to kind of start trusting your body. Your body knows where it wants to be. Look at this. This is proof.
Yes.
The bar's off the ground. Look, no
Yeah.
flexion, neutral back. The only other thing, as when it comes to actual technique that's going on in your deadlift, is this right before you pull. You have this little jerk.
Yeah.
But you see, and what you did was you created slack in your shoulder in the lat.
Yeah.
So as right before you pulled, you went bit. So
Yes.
how we mitigate that is when we pull in that tension, we snap the bar, boom, and we hit with our legs, not our back.
Yeah.
So creating that tension and pulling yourself down into position will also start eliminating that jerk. So what I want you to do now on your, if you've got some extra time in the gym one day and it's not a deadlift day,
Yeah.
take something. I want you at the height you pull, but you can do it with a bar on a rack back here as long as it's the same height. There's little things where it's a kind of an engagement thing that I've used and I've used on clients is where I use my tension to break the bar this far off the ground.
Okay.
So it looks like this. I get in, bit,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Okay.
Super light, just enough weight so the bar's not floating all around when you're pulling. Enough weight to provide resistance for you to pull in tension, but nothing that's going to actually fatigue you.
Okay.
We need
Yes.
to get your setup in order so you're not going thinking, shoulders, lats, glutes, don't fuck up.
Yeah.
So you know automatically
Yes.
this is where I need to be. And when something feels off, you can look at a video and go, oh, that's what it is. So
Yeah.
this is going to take time. This is going to take reps. But we need to reduce your setup time.
Yes.
And it will help you exponentially. And it will also eliminate that jerk by pulling in that tension, by snapping the bar and creating that lat tension. You do everything else so well.
Okay.
You're overthinking this for no reason.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
You have a sound deadlift. You're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're smiling, you're having fun, you're like, I fucking did it. Like, it's just
Do you know how?
this
Sorry.
part, this little peanut right here is all over the place.
Yeah.
So we need
Yeah.
to reel that in and get you kind of doing it all at once when you pull in and hit. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do. You know how to do it. We just need to get take your brain out and set it on the side of the platform for a second and let this do what it already knows how to do.
Okay.
All right.
Got it. Yes. Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you.
Low incline bench press. Okay. Came a little bit too low.
Too low.
Just like you came too far down.
Oh, really?
Not low here. Like you
Yeah.
had a really big, like you were almost like at the
Yes.
rib cage. So it creates a really big delt load when you get really far down, and
Yeah.
it brings us out of our chest and our back. So
Yes.
we want to aim for like that like bra line type deal.
Yeah.
See how we're below it, and you got stuck there because you had to
Yeah.
you couldn't get in power to press. You had to almost raise. Do you feel that really heavily in your delts and your shoulders?
To be honest, yeah.
So so find my chair real quick. So if I'm in this plane and I'm
Yes.
pressing here, we're predominantly using chest, back, and some shoulder, some delt.
Yeah.
So the further we move away from that, if this is our center line and then we finish here over our shoulder, see how I'm driving back up towards my face, which you were doing.
Yeah.
But when you come to a certain point down here, now there's this motion. See how I'm not getting any sort of press? I'm having to raise to
Yeah.
start the press. So it's loading the thing that does the raising really heavily
Yeah.
and creating
Yeah.
a really disadvantageous part of the movement because you're getting too far one direction out of bar path. So when you unrack it, I want you to squeeze here with the back, shoulders back,
Mm-hmm.
down.
Yeah.
So I'm tight. And then I'm squeezing my butt. I have a slight arch in my back.
Yes.
Brace. Bra line, keeping those elbows not in, but not
Yeah.
flat. We're here. And then as we drive, then the elbow flare comes in to help with the press. They flare out. So
Okay.
when we press, we're doing this. When we're descending, we're here. Pressing here.
Okay.
And all of those working together will create tension through the bar path.
Okay. Do you think so because of the bench and the degree of it, is it okay? Or would you recommend to maybe lower it or to change it a bit?
No. Because if you steepen the angle and you try to maintain that bar path you're in, it's
Yeah.
only going to amplify.
Okay.
You can get too far out of bar path on any variation of bench press.
Yes.
So it's not because of the angle, it's because of the input.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I also noticed you didn't think for 30 seconds before you did this. You can do it.
Yeah. It's sometimes, when you get to a higher, so I waste my weight.
Yep.
Yeah, then it is
Okay.
automatically coming,
Let me ask you to think about it like this. When you load more weight on the bar, what else
Yeah.
changes? What changes?
You can ask Thomas. We are doing it together, and sometimes it's just I'm not afraid, but I'm just thinking about, can I chase my hard reps? I'm really always trying to chase my hard reps, and this is then coming automatically.
So here's the answer. Nothing changes. Absolutely nothing but what you put on the bar. That's the only
Yeah.
thing that changed was you took another circle and you put it on a straight line. That's literally it. You put a circle on a circle. That's
Yeah, I
the
know.
only thing that changed. You have more things on the bar. Everything
Yeah.
else is the same
Yeah.
as when you worked up.
Yeah, but your body is, when it's coming to this, you are excited to see, are you getting this? You know what I mean. And this is
Yeah.
just,
And you are getting it. Your proof was in your movement pattern.
okay.
So stop thinking, more pressure, add more weight, when, yeah, we might need a little bit more arousal level. That excitement in the right direction
Yeah.
can help get us a
Yeah.
little amped up, give us a little more access to that the nervous system firing.
Yes.
But the input, the actual how you move, zero change. Nothing. You just put more weight on. That's the only difference between that set and your first warm-up.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
All right, Bridget, deadlift. Better. We're not falling as low. There you go. You corrected. That was good. She got too deep, and then she had the awareness, brought herself, look at those shoulders alignment over the bar. Boom. Night and day difference from your last deadlift session. You put yourself right where you need to be.
Thank God.
You're walking it in. You're getting much better at this. That rep right there was the best one. That hip position. Boom. There was no rise. There was no fall. It was leg drive, went immediately, boom, into the bar.
Okay. Awesome.
Look, there's like no change here from floor. And if there is, it's so subtle, it doesn't matter. I mean, you hit with your legs. Look at that. Loaded. Ass doesn't shoot up. There's no fold. Shoulders are over the bar. Chef's kiss.
Thank you.
You have found
It's been a minute.
You found your position.
I'm really happy. Finally.
You should be. Well done.
Thank you. Well, thank you. You had a hand in that.
I do my best, but you're the one at the wheel here. Be proud. Take the credit. You deserve it. Ian, one arm dumbbell rows supported. Still coming a little far back, but at the end of the day, if you rode like this all the time, it's not a big deal. When it comes to, we want that plane where basically your middle finger is coming towards your belly button. So we're here versus back here. So we have more of a contraction and a squeeze and rowing into that middle finger right into that belly button right here versus that long wide motion. What you're doing is kind of somewhere between a dumbbell row and a croc row. A croc row is a variation, and it's a way to really overload the dumbbell. It uses some body English. So you'd actually come here and you'd drive with the legs off the floor and come really far back and create a big exaggeration of the movement. Very common in powerlifting. I have them occasionally. But when it comes to the strict like this, we want to aim a little bit more middle finger towards the belly button. Ian, stiff leg deadlifts. Picks it up, and he's doing this correctly. He's going to start them from the top. Yes. Ian, you fucking nailed these, dude. These are fantastic. Great hinge. Holding on to position, accelerating, big glute squeeze, firing hips towards the bar. Ian, well done. Andres.
Hello.
Barbell rows.
Told me to row towards my belly button.
Mm-hmm. The bar path on a barbell and a dumbbell row is pretty much the same. They're connected on a barbell. Yeah. Little bit of body English, that's okay. Again, for those people new, there's varying degrees of rows, depending on what you're trying to do. The only thing you see how at the top of your row you kind of get into this position
Still doing
very
still,
subtly. versus
Yeah, still
when
doing
you
that.
row, you drive your chest out to the floor.
Yeah.
To really emphasize that contraction and the squeeze versus
Okay. Yeah. I know what you're
Otherwise,
talking about.
you're on the right path, man. Well done.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Ben, grinding out these pull-ups. Chin up.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Stand
Chin
correct.
ups this time is what the program says. We'll see where we are.
So you're doing some progression here. Whether it's a chin up or pull up, the progression techniques are the same. Good.
Yes, I fought for that one, it just wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, that's still failure, guys. I mean, there was nothing left. But what I'm noticing is, obviously, as you probably have realized, chin-ups are easier.
Oh, God,
just
yes.
simply due to how it allows us to pull. B, you look like you've moved the bench further away from you, which is a good thing.
Yes, I'm trying to get it in a consistent position that's I realized the first set I did that I was really pushing through my heels.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, I'm not doing this to cheat. I'm doing this to get better. So I moved it as far away as I physically could. Thought this is a pivot point. It's a pivot point, not an accessory, to help me move.
You're understanding how to input difficulty and make your sets progress through how much assistance you give yourself. So the further Ben moves that bench away, or the further is giving him, in a way, obviously too far, and we're in a really fucking weird position, and it won't make sense. But there's a spot where you want the bench, and how much you bend your knees and drive your heels into the bench will mitigate how much assistance you get. So he's allowing himself to progress without using weight. But think of like how a band, the lighter band you go, the less assistance you have. The leg input is that progression. So this is where intuitive and realizing I need less input, the least amount of input as possible for me to do my set. And the further you get into those, say you have 3 sets, you're going to need less input on the first set. You're going to need slightly more input potentially on the second, a little bit more on the third. But the less and less that requires along the sets is an indication of improvement. And that's something you need there's a learning curve there as you're finding out of how much
For sure.
and when and where do I need this bench. So well done.
As long as it's all looking good. Cheers.
You're
mate.
doing these better than, weeks ago. That's for sure. They're getting better.
Well, attacking it every single time. So thank
You
you
were
very
a little
much.
frustrated with them about a month ago, from what I understand, but this is showing you have no reason to be frustrated.
Good. I'm my own worst enemy. I'll tell everybody, be kind to
We all
yourself.
are.
It's brand new. Whereas to me, I just go, well, you're a fool. You should be able to do this. Come on. But thank you, mate. This is one. I'd already done all of my working sets, and I'd already PR'd my best lift ever on a conventional deadlift. And then my brain went, could I maybe do more? So this is 180 kilograms. And
That looks solid.
Oh, good.
And it's 180 kilo conventional, whereas you pulled what on a trap bar?
On the trap bar, I did 219.5 in front of you all. I'm very proud of that.
So you're hunting right now your trap bar best.
Oh,
You're on the
yes.
heels of your trap bar best with conventional. Folks, this is what I mean. Herein lies the difference in strength progression between a conventional and look at this. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Orangutan mode.
production difference. If you want an incredibly and brutally strong posterior chain, conventional is king. Yes, it has different risks because leverage, but the same reason why the risk is higher is the same reason why it's more conducive to having a stupid strong back and posterior chain. The trap bar doesn't make it lesser, it makes it different. But Ben is proof. He pulled 219 on trap bar and he trains conventional. You can train conventional and then test on trap bar, and your trap bar will always get better, but your conventional doesn't necessarily improve the same way if you only train on trap bar. So this is where preference and goals become the differentiators on why you do which. But Ben, this is really, really good signs here. The fact that we are hunting down and doing, in a program, 90% plus of our trap bar pull with conventional. That's a really good spot to be in.
Yeah, smart. I said the old orangutan brain kicked in and said, well, that's a good number. I wonder if I can do that conventional. And that's all I'm thinking about now. So
That's good.
Well, of course I've got to try.
I love that. Well done, Ben.
Cheers, mate. Right.
Donald deadlift. Okay, Donald, are you in here by any chance? Are these supposed to be stiff leg deadlifts? If not, and it's just a standard deadlift, they always go to the floor every single time. That is part of what it's a non-negotiable on a deadlift. A conventional deadlift starts and stops at the floor every single rep. Your actual position, the hinge pattern is not bad. We need to get you, if these are conventional deadlift, we need to get you pulling like you did on the first rep off the floor every single time. That's not a bad position. We need to get you out of this flexion, that tailbone to the sky, push the belly button to the floor, so we get into some lumbar neutrality. Everything else looks really, really good, though. How you're setting up, these are all really good signs. We just need to get you out of some of that flexion and deadlift like that every single rep. Front squat with the heel wedges. Great useful tool for squatting, that little extra heel elevation. Front squat looks fucking awesome. Great rack position. He's using the strap method so that he can maintain that nice high rack position. Depth looks pretty good. It's a low angle, so it can be deceiving, but it looks like he's down there. Donald, your front squats are great, man. Well done. Nicholas Willem. Find out what the lift is in a second. If my wife, there we go. Okay, so it's an RDL stiff leg deadlift type deal. Great range of motion. Good tempo. Nicholas, you're moving well. I want to see you do that with some more load. But your range of motion's fantastic. You arguably don't even need to go that far. Right about here is probably that's all we need. I mean, right about there, you're going to be on the ground if you were doing it with a barbell anyway. And any further, we get a little bit into some flexion in the hip hinge. Not much, though, which means you have great mobility. Let me see you do this with some weight, man. These are good. Looks like a dumbbell row. Yes, a little bit lower. I'd like to see that middle finger come down right around here, give or take. So we're not so up in our shoulder. We're really getting into that back, that mid and upper back. You can even kick that leg back slightly a little bit if you're worried about hitting that. Benoit dumbbell split squats. Yeah, these are it, man. Nice vertical travel. Not drifting forward or back. Well done. Easy money. Front squats. Benoit, you're natural at these now, man. That's a beautiful front squat. Those are fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Carly, low pin squats. Let's see. Yeah, those are low. Jesus. But she's maintaining
the queen right here. Good job, Carly.
These are some of the best pin squats we've had submitted. Carly putting on an absolute clinic here. Look how deep she is. Not that everyone needs to get that deep. But what's really, really good about what she's doing with these in the depth is actually how she comes up out of that depth. Her butt's not kicking up and then turning into a hinge. She's maintaining position and she's driving with her legs, firing into the bar and staying in position. So Carly, absolutely stellar job here. This makes me really happy. Already, Jacqueline's got her hips down. This is good. So the elbow position, we want to maintain some sort of fixed position. So the extension is we're getting a little bit more into the triceps at that point. If you're trying to do a pullover versus we pick either straight or slight bend. I'm a slight bend just because of the range of motion. When I'm fixed, I have to sacrifice some mobility, being that close together. So a slight bend gives me a little bit more range of motion to get all the way down and around. So pick an elbow angle and keep them fixed in that position. Scott, front squats. Flying with these. Scott, your front squat looks awesome. Rack position looks strong. Great control over the bar. Bearing the depth. He's not drifting forward or back. Great positioning from the wet hips up as well. Scott, I love these. I love everything about them. Keep ticking on. Thomas, deadlift. These are good. A little out front there. You see how it swung back as you broke the ground? Thomas, otherwise your deadlift is looking pretty damn good, man. Overall I really like it. There's a lot of right happening here. You get slightly, ever so slightly out front on one of the reps. And that's what puts you in this kind of trailing position where our legs are extended and we're still very hinged. The one thing I also want you to focus on. Yep, you were out front. Is to help with that out frontness, I want you to pay attention where you set your feet up underneath the bar, like where the bar's lying over your foot, so you have some visual marker to know you're in the same spot every single time.
Okay.
Otherwise, man, your deadlift is sound. It's just it's just going to be a little bit of polishing to find that sweet spot for your bar path and setup.
Okay, thank you.
I think you're a little bit too far out on the foot with the, like if this is my foot, I think you're setting up, these are my toes. I think I'm setting up too far in the front of the foot, which is causing a higher knee angle. So when you leg drive, your knees suck back and it creates that out front, versus if you put your foot under slightly more and kind of stay back into that midfoot with your weight, that will smooth out that bar path and it won't feel as heavy because it's not as far away from you. Make sense?
I'll try it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You think a lot less than the other one.
That's true.
Hello.
All right, landmine rows. Kickstand's a great variation of doing the stiff leg deadlift using a landmine. Totally valid. These are good. Back foot's light. He's loading that front foot. The only thing, because this kind of looks awkward to me, having it go across your body versus if you had the barbell, the landmine going, if this is my kickstand side, if it was going this way, so the arm I was holding it, it was on that side, so you have the clearance. Does that make sense? So you're lifting with your right leg and holding the weight with your left arm.
Yeah.
So if I need something to, what do I got? I got an idea. We're going to use a gun case. So if I'm doing kickstand deadlifts and I'm lifting, kickstand leg, landmine, this side versus across my body. So if this is the landmine, kickstand, loaded leg, does that make more sense? Versus
yeah. Okay.
what you're doing here.
I've got to switch. Yeah, okay. I'll check it out.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Roe Patterson, deadlift, is there improvement or a hot mess? Well, let's see. You thought it was a hot mess when you first sent one, and it wasn't a hot mess. Look at that snap to lockout. Boom. Hands down improvement. This is a gorgeous deadlift. And an absolute clinic, again, on why we squeeze our butt on rack pulls and things. Because look how she breaks. She's impatient. Boom. And then those glutes kick in and just fire to the bar.
Thank you, Nick. So am I sucked back enough so that my knees are where they should be instead of being in front of the bar like I've struggled with.
This is fucking perfect as far as position.
Bless you.
This is exactly where you want to be. You're over the bar, you're over your power, in turn creating a nice vertical bar path. And look at this position. So for all of those, like Richard, I was talking about how people, it seems like we're trailing on our pull. This is what it looks like when we're in position. So when we're trailing on our pull, it means our leg drive is finished too soon. And now I'm here and then fighting to come up. Versus what Ro's doing is it's this leg drive, boom, hips. So the leg drive is virtually continuous. It starts as the primary and then finishes as the secondary. Because when we initiate with pushing through the floor, this is why when it all comes together, look, boom. It's a very streamlined process. It's an extension. Boop. These are fantastic, bro.
Okay, thank
I
you.
don't know what world you would think this is a hot mess.
I'm so critical, but it took me a while to get here, as you know. And I did put weight on the bar. I think that was 175. So I'm feeling very proud of myself. I know I can do more. I was worried that I wasn't where I needed to be. So I will.
Yeah, you're fucking nailing this. So hit the gas pedal. Keep doing what you're doing. Be proud. Claude, bench press, flat bench. Beautiful. Absolutely lovely bench press. From unrack to bar path. Look at the slight
Thank you,
arch.
sir.
Look at the tension. He's together here in the shoulders. He's not rounding his back out to finish the press. Claude, you nailed these, dude. I love this.
Thanks very much.
Well done. Your daddy has a great bench press. He's strong.
Want to show your muscles?
Let's see yeah.
Well done.
Steffen with some conventional pulls. Deadlift. Got out of position slightly and soft hit the lockout, which one is typically a bird of a feather of the other. When we get out of position like that, it makes the lockout harder. So with your deficit, you've got to be conscious of our position slightly changes because we have further to go. It looks like a deficit anyway because he's standing on something. Is it? Or am I just fucking wrong? Yeah, there's some elevation there. So with this, you see how we kick right into basically a stiff leg deadlift. I mean, that's essentially what that is at that point. So what's happening is this rotation, because that's essentially what you're doing is rotating around the bar because your leg drive's not going into it. So when you input, see, boom, see inputting, bars coming back, you were out front, now you're out of position. Now you've got to fight for your life to basically, you're all hamstrings, glute, and back here. So we need to get that bar closer in a sense. And it's not going to be by simply moving the bar in. It's going to be by adjusting where we set up. So with this setup, you see how our shoulders are past the bar. Now they're even further past the bar. So you went from slightly out of position to overextended. So even with your deficits, we might need to simply bring your hips up a 1/4 inch, let those knees suck back, and bring you back into your midfoot. So you're here, bar feels close, but we're so far folded over and we're at such a high knee angle that it's actually out front. See how my hand position changes just by doing this? So if I come back, bring my hips up slightly, now I'm in a much closer position to where the bar needs to travel. So you need to get back and bring your hips up slightly. And that will do the rest. Steffen, you mentioned in the comments he was feeling these in his back extensively and was wondering if it had anything to do with his hip position as far as his hips. No, this is great. Look, we have nice neutral spine. I think it was just more load. And maybe you can reply to this question in the comments when you watch this. Did you feel something acute or was it just really, really sore afterwards? We also need to get you finishing that lockout. So see how our hips are behind us? So if I go back, I'm going to use Rose because her lockout was fantastic. Look at this lockout. Look how Rose's shoulders are stacked over her hips. Her knees are locked out. This is what lockout looks like. She's not leaning back, but she's extended. Her hips are all the way through. Her butt is flexed. Her shoulders are stacked. There's a vertical line from her shoulder to her knees. So when we do these rack pulls, that's what we want. We want to get to that lockout position to where it's commanding, not soft. So this would be a soft lockout. We want to get stacked, and we do that by squeezing this shit out of our butt and really pulling our shoulders back and bringing everything in alignment.
You have a group thing? Sorry.
Carlos. Back squat, rehab, rebuild. Whoops. From scratch. Carlos, this is good. Good control in the eccentric. Little pause at the bottom. In a rebuild phase, this is good. Slow eccentrics, pauses. These are all really, really good. Getting used to that movement pattern again. Rebuilding, ingraining depth. He's doing a lot of stuff right. He has a slight drift forward, but it's nothing catastrophic that can be addressed. But you're on the right path, man. Just be mindful of that drift forward as you descend. But your squat pattern looks pretty damn good. Sandeep, barbell deadlift. Cat cow. Okay. All right, Sandeep. So these are touch and goes. No more touch and goes because your first rep is the worst rep and it's due to position. So everything needs to be to a dead stop. So we pull from a dead stop. I want a 1/1000 pause on the floor, rebrace, reload, drive. So what happened here is you got into position and then immediately boom, butt kick straight up in the air. And now we are trailing on the pull. So your butt kicked up. Look how far away that bar is now. So when you get into this position, we need to bring you back. Like you're very far over. We need to bring you literally, the input is going from here to here. I didn't change anything here. I simply went into my midfoot, into my toe, front foot heavy, into my midfoot. So I'm then in that position to put my leg drive into the bar versus my leg drive not going into the bar, because your leg drive did virtually nothing. Your leg drive went to the sky, basically. Boom, leg drive. Now your leg drive's done. Now you are all back legs. Hamstring and glute. So it's just a matter of bringing you back into your hips. So much like earlier, all that time spent sitting down there, we need to practice getting you down into your position and then just pulling. So every rep, dead stop. From now on, for the next couple weeks, I want you to find position every single rep, and it might cause you to drop weight, but that's okay. Weight doesn't matter right now. Getting you down into position, boop, boop, drive. 1, stand up, down into position, drive. Because that first rep is very important, because say you do want to test a 1 rep max. What you can do on the second, third rep from already being in a better position due to gravity putting you in alignment and touching and going is irrelevant, because we start from a dead stop. So for you, the most important part of your pull right now is setup. And I want more setup time with you. So every single rep, you're going to stand up, go back down to the bar. This is something I do right before contests every single time. They're called clusters. And it allows me to create and ingrain that neural practice so I can run up to the bar literally in a deadlift medley. It's like 4 or 5 bars, and it's fastest time through. So I'm literally sprinting to a bar, driving. So I've got to be fast in my setup. And how I do that is with what I'm having you do, a cluster. So it creates that natural ability to know where I need to be. So slowing down your sets and creating that environment so you can practice on a very important part of your pull, which is getting in position, finding position, and pulling from that position. We need more practice there. So these touch and goes where you just kind of go down and kiss the ground under tension, we're not there yet, because we need to get this rep. Because look how you pull here. It's much more together versus this first one. You fire and you're completely out of position. But
Yeah.
so we need to create reps 2, 3, and 4 on rep 1.
Okay.
And this, again, you're so new to this. This is supposed to feel foreign. And that's all it is. It's just a foreign movement. And gravity helps us and tension helps us once we get into the set. But that first pull, most people, it's typically their hardest or ugliest because of it's from a dead stop. And we have to find position versus gravity putting us in position. So you're getting better.
Okay.
But this is the next step, is we're going to now do clusters. So if you have, like, say, a 3x5, find position, get position, hold position, drive, down, stand up, brace, down, find position, get position, hold position, fire for 5 reps on that 3x5. All right?
Okay.
Bench press. You could probably get a little bit higher on your rack position, so you don't have to do this. It should just be a slight, like, quarter bench and then out. Yeah, you basically did a full rep. Your bench is pretty sound. We can generate more full body tension, squeezing the butt, slight arch in the back. For starters, we're going to elevate your rack position. Your rack position should be roll the bar to the front of the rack because you have hooks, and then put your eyes underneath the bar. And the rack is a quarter, so even if we come back into it and we're fatigued, we come down into the rack, but we don't need to be so deep. So we're actually, I mean, I'd almost counted that unrack as rep 1. You did a lot of work there just to get it out of the rack. So we're going to bring up our rack. When you unrack, you're going to stop, brace, shoulders back and down, and hold that position. We don't need to press through our shoulders. We're pressing through our chest, back, and triceps, and some front delt help. So keeping here keeps our shoulders from getting that travel and that load and potentially tweaking them, injuring them. And we want it tight. We're bracing while we're moving the weight, and we're going to squeeze our butt. And our legs are actually driving as well. Our legs aren't driving our butt up in the air. They're driving up the bench. So it's creating a coil. That's where that arch is between our upper back and our glutes. So this is your foot width, everything. This looks good. We're going to load those quads by driving this direction, up the bench, not up in the air, just up the bench. But your bench overall is pretty sound, man. There's not a ton. We're polishing.
Okay.
So remember how, I don't know if you hear earlier, I was talking about typically people have one of the big 3 that they just naturally progress on faster. Yours is bench.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Nick. I'll work on it.
Yes, sir. Sandra, front squats. Sandra, I'd be curious to see your foot width here, because your actual squat form looks great, but it looks like you might be slightly narrow, and it's kind of bringing you forward because your hips you don't have clearance for your hips to open up potentially. The other thing, when you walk out and unrack, just like a back squat, get set, squeeze your butt, brace. Don't go into the squat soft. Take that 1,000 tight squat. Sandra, deadlift. Okay. These look really good. She's working. Little bit of hip shift to the right, to this side, but nothing crazy. Sandra, let me see these from the side. Similar effort, similar. Whenever you have this effort rep range again, I want to see what these look like from the side, but those look actually pretty fucking good. So I'm not actually worried. I want the whole view. Those are pretty good. Becky, is it better to work on squat depth or keep adding weight? We definitely want to get you down to depth. They will typically come together. You get the depth, and you will continue to get stronger and be able to add weight. We need way more depth than that. So in this case, 1,000% we're prioritizing depth. You're super, super, super high. We're not even halfway. So we need to focus way more on the depth, because this would actually be a variation of a squat. This would be a top quarter squat to work on the top end strength and and getting heavier load exposure. So we need to, I want to see this with a barbell. I want to see this with absolutely no weight, just enough weight for you to have some sort of dictation, whether it's 5, 10 pounds on each side. I want to see this as light as possible, just a barbell even, and I want to see what it looks like without having to worry about weight on the bar. And I want to see how deep you can get and how you can move. Becky, deadlifts. Deadlift position's way better. We're steady moving in the right direction with these. The only other thing that I really want you to start focusing on now is outside of maintaining some that lumbar neutral position is driving those knees out. Point those toes slightly out. So you're straight, almost slightly pigeon-toed. Let's go from here to here with the toes and drive those knees out towards your pinky toes. Amelie, high pull cleans. So this is just a clean. It's no longer a high pull clean. It is just a clean. High pulls and cleans are two separate parts of it. Good. So now we've got to get you used to landing that clean. Because there's a couple things going on out there, as expected. It's new. Keep in mind, out of the hole, we want to eliminate this jerk right here. See how you dip down? Boop, you have a subtle little jerk. It's very subtle, but I don't want it to get worse. So where and how the bar is landing is what we're focusing on now, because you've got the high pull down. The high pull looks great. Everything going into catching the bar looks great. So you're too narrow here. We don't want our fingers on our shoulders. We don't front squat that way. We don't press that way. We don't want to be in here. We want to be outside of our shoulders. There shouldn't be a drastic change in our clean width and our press width. Some people don't even change it. So you're going to come here and just immediately, there's going to be no slide or letting go. It's a rotation and you're just driving into the bar. So the little dip you do is great. I love that you're doing that. The top portion of this, let's see if I can catch it. See how you're so far actually above where you're going to land? It means you have a ton of power on the high pull, which is really, really good. But what it also means is you need to start advancing to the bar sooner. So there is where you'd start the transition to get under. This is where the timing comes into play with the clean. Why it's not just technique intensive, it's also timing intensive. And because right now, look at that. You've now come in, your grip's changed, you're not in a position to press the way you're landing. The goal is to get in a position to be advantageous to then get set up for the press. So this whole coming in is we don't need to do, and we shouldn't. We're too narrow. So you're literally, as that bar reaches that peak, we don't want to fold it back and down on top of us. As the bar reaches the peak, we fire under it. It's just firing in, not pulling back. So on the high pull, we're getting out of the way, right? Boom, we're here, we're out of the way. And then we just simply attack and catch and then up. Amelie, we're bringing back tire flips. Okay. Where do I want to start on this? Okay, so with these tire flips, you see we're too compacted, folded on top of ourselves. Remember, this tire lifts at an angle. So you're starting here with this. One thing to keep in mind with tire flips is the trick is to load the bicep as minimally as possible. If there's one event where I've seen the most amount of injuries on, and this is why I proceed with caution and why I typically don't program tire flips, even in strongman programming, unless there is a tire flip in the contest, is because when it comes to an event that I've seen a higher rate of injury than any other event, it's been a fucking tire flip. And it's because of this right here. She's starting with the curl. Now, when you get to the extreme side of it and we're flipping 800 to 1,000 pound tires, when we get into that position, the bicep goes really quick. I've judged a contest where the first 3 guys tore bicep, torn bicep, torn bicep on like their second or third flip because of we can't curl 400 pounds or whatever this weighs. That's probably a lot of people claim a tire weight, and it's actually nowhere near what it is. And now, mind you, if it's a 400-pound tire because it flips on an axis, you're not picking up 400 pounds all at once. There's a point where it's at its most difficult, and it's about a 45-degree where you're getting a lot of that weight. But when we come up, when we're driving into that tire, I'm actually keeping a straight arm. I'm getting wider. So I'm driving. I don't even know how I can do this in here, just to make it make sense. I'm going to try and do it into this table. Let me move my ceiling tiles. So if I were to drive on an axis and say this is the tire, I'm driving here. Boom. So I'm driving in and up simultaneously. What I'm not doing is bearing the tire load in my bicep here. We want straight arms, which means we need to go wider. We need to get our feet back. She's trying to flip on the axis, but what she's actually forcing herself to do is pick it up almost vertically. The tire doesn't want to lift this way. The tire wants to lift this way. So she's picking it straight up, way out front, with heavy bicep load. And her hips are way behind it. Here, she should already be stepping and advancing into the tire. Yeah, see, her hips did virtually, the tire was almost flipped over before their hips even got into it. Amelie, let's reel it in a minute here. Because I'm trying to teach you one big movement pattern already with clean and presses. Let's not throw back in a completely new foreign, because there's a lot that needs to change with your tire flip, and we're just getting to a point where we're figuring out the clean and press and we've got some momentum. So if you don't mind, let's not worry about a tire flip. Let's get your clean and press built out. And then once we get that fundamentally where it needs to be, we can then add on another. Let's not ADHD squirrel, ooh, shiny new toy on all the new implements. Let's get one figured out first, and then we can move to the next thing. Because this needs a whole overhaul. This is a high, tire flips are very risky for the reasons I listed. And I don't want you going in. I love that you're excited. I love your enthusiasm. But there's a lot that needs to happen for that to go right. And we're just starting to get our feet rolling with the clean and press. So help me help you here. Let's reel it in on the implement ADHD, and let's finish one and then move on to the next one.
I love how much you care, Nick. Thank you for saying all this and preventing injuries.
Yeah, man, I love the enthusiasm and the excitement, especially Amelie. She's always so happy to. She's like, that looks so cool. I want to do it. I love that, and I'm trying to be very careful not to stifle that. But she moves I want to make sure people have the movement pattern correctly, so you guys can enjoy it without getting fucked up. Like that's really about it. And tire lift is a weird one. Right? You wouldn't think it's bicep intensive, but it can be if done incorrectly. And I just want to see you guys do well.
I was wondering, excuse me, I was wondering if there would be an exercise that she could be doing with a barbell instead of using the tire, so that she could start so that she could learn the starting position on the tire. Or
there really isn't.
No, because she has to be in the angle, right?
Yeah, it's the tire flip is a tire flip.
Yeah.
Like you can train fundamental strength, which ups your potential for a heavier tire. Just like people think functional fitness, they're not moving in the plane they're needing to move for. Like people talk about it with American football all the time. Oh, when do we deadlift in a football game? Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Do you want a brutally strong posterior chain? So when you have to block a 300-pound human, you can yoke them up and move them, because that's what that builds. The potential to be strong in the pattern, right? Fundamental strength elevates the potential for the strength we use in the direction we need. So fundamentally, I can do more if I can deadlift 600 pounds than if I deadlift 500 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be picking up a bucket or whatever, my threshold for work capacity, my threshold for amount of weight that I can pick up in that weird object is going to be higher, simply because I'm stronger. So getting stronger fundamentally for her is the best thing she can do. So when we do go in that tire flip, there's a much bigger margin for risk. So what that means is, if she's strong, if say we get to the tire 6 months from now and she has all this time to get stronger, fundamentally that tire is going to be easier and safer, because it's not going to be anywhere near a level of difficulty where things become risky. So it gives her a bigger cushion for when we do. And Amelie is one thing I pay attention to, and it's very person to person. Some people take to movement pattern faster than others. Amelie is, and this isn't a slight or anything, Amelie, when she moves, there needs to be more time and attention into getting her moving correctly. Whereas let's take someone who was probably an athlete for 20 years. I might need a week with that person, and they're executing at an intermediate to closer to advanced level already. Example, I got away with learning a new clean and jerk technique 5 weeks prior to setting a world record with it. I wouldn't recommend that for anyone, and I probably shouldn't have done it. But I was like, fuck it, I want to have fun. I want to sauce this up with I like being in the position to learn. And that's what made training fun for me, was I was able to really go into it with that Olympic coach and learn something new. And that's what was needed for my brain to have fun with doing another prep. So some people take to new movement pattern like a fish to water, and some people don't. And it's totally okay. And I just have to recognize that as a coach, because some people I can't necessarily have learned 3 different big movement patterns all at once. Some people it's one here. When the Amelie is very much, I need you to focus on this one, then we'll get this one good, then we'll move to the next one. She's squirrely. Whereas like Torin, I know he has advanced level movement pattern and strength. So he's someone I'm much comfortable throwing and working on 4 different things in different lifts all at once. You, for example, your biggest enemy is just you think too much, but you move well. Your deadlift took a little longer, but your squat happened quick, your bench happened quick. There was a lot of movement pattern. It wasn't hard, right? Sunil, squat and deadlift are a little slower going. Deadlift being his slowest, then squat. His bench, it's ticking right along. It's right into polishing. So there's degrees to this person to person, and I need to be able to recognize who can, and it's hard and when it's a lot of people to memorize it. And that's an also important part of everyone showing up on a regular basis so I can stay fresh with each and every one of you on a weekly basis. Movement pattern can be a tricky thing depending on your background or overthinking or for a number of reasons. So I need to be a buffer. And the part of being coachable is being able to hear that and not think I'm going, you suck. Because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying our ability's here. You're trying to be here. We're going to get there, but I need you to meet me here first. And let's work our way there. So that's all that is. It's fundamentally making sure I'm not trying to please you in the sense of what you want to do all the time versus making my coaching align with your goal, but doing so in a manner that gets you there regardless of sometimes your feelings. If how you feel doesn't align with your goal, I have to hold some sort of line to go, that doesn't align. We can't go that direction because I'm trying to get you here. That's going to take you over here. So
I think
go ahead.
Yeah. I think Amelie told you the other day, or she asked the question like, when do we start to feel, when do we stop feeling like a beginner? And I think that's the reason why she would like to progress in all the exercises, including the tower and stuff like that. So I think she has to learn that with the white belt mentality, she has to learn that something you focus on one thing and once you're good at it, you can move to the next.
Yes, and understanding that there's no definitive when, right? I have confidence in my movement pattern, but I'm still constantly analyzing like I did when I was a beginner. That white belt mentality, me going, okay, I've got 5 weeks to do this. I'm still working with Tom. He's doing my programming. I'm going to hire this Olympic coach because I want to learn to split jerk. And making sure they're communicating. She's giving Tom input. He's adjusting my program. And they're at the wheel. And I was purely a student of Maria in prep. Purely utmost. And that is where I came to her as a world champion, world-class athlete, elite level. She made it clear there's certain things I was getting away with simply because my strength for my press power allowed it to. So that means she had to scale me back on strength and power and make me precise. So I had to hear her and be receptive to what she had to say. I had to feel like a beginner. I had to trust her. I had to do all these things. So I don't think the question is, when do we stop feeling like a beginner? I think it's, where can we keep fucking learning? And that comes back to people progressing at different rates. Again, Amelie isn't someone I can throw 3 new movement patterns with. And it's her movement. She has a very awkward starting point with the way she moves, a very disconnected. And it's incredibly important that I recognize that. So then I can eliminate the disconnection and focus on a point, drill it, then the next point, drill it, and create the connection for her. Whereas like with you on your front squatting progressed pretty fucking quick.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like you, I didn't need to build your front squat from the top down or the bottom up, like we did your deadlift. I recognized
Yeah.
there was a disconnect and found out where it was making sense and started you there, which was at the top. And then we built
Yeah.
it and we connected the dots all the way down. If I just fed you with a fire hose constantly and was like, let's drill this, your deadlift required focus from both of us. Her clean and press requires focus from both of us. Her tire flip's going to require focus from both of us. Her squat is pretty good. She squats well. So it's a give and take of knowing where someone needs brakes and knowing where someone needs to hit the gas pedal. And it's a delicate balance because I love when someone's excited and I don't want to put that out. I want to fuel it, but I don't want to dump lighter fluid on it and make it out of control. And it's like, oh fuck, like we've got a mess now. I want to keep, pumping air into it and keep the fire hot in a realm of being able to control how it grows.
Yeah. I really love your ability to pinpoint what we need to do according to our level of fitness, and in that case, it will prevent injury for her. So,
yes,
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Benoit. All right, back at it. Brighton Overton barbell squats. All right, looks like we've got 225. If those are 25s, 275, 295.
I think it was 275 or 295. I can't remember.
It's definitely more than 275 because if those are quarters on the inside of the tens.
Yep.
Have you had 300 pounds on your back yet?
No, I've never done it. I mean, I lifted in high school. That was 15 years ago. So
Well,
I've never.
You have 3 plates anytime you want it. You're doing rep work with 295.
Yeah.
So, like, that's exciting. You're a 300-pound squatter. 300 plus pound squatter.
Yeah, the bracing and the belt has been a game changer for that and for deadlifts.
Our brace is our everything.
Yeah, I never knew what that was, so that's really changed a lot.
And you can see it. Look, you're not folding. You've got great drive into the bar. You get a little bit heel light.
Yeah. My ankles have no mobility.
So here's what we're gonna do. You know those lifter shoes with the heel elevation? Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Did he disconnect? Brighton, come back.
I think I lost you.
Back. You can blame it on me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you know that song.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You know those lifters that you see people squat and meet overhead press with the heel elevation? If it's within your budget, I think it's time for you to get some.
Okay.
Because you could easily just put plates under your heels, but it's like a belt. Invest in a good belt. Cry with fire once. Lifters, you get a good pair of lifters. If you're using them hard day in and day out, I've had my Reeboks for 2 years and they're barely showing wear.
Okay.
I love the Reebok.
Reebok, all right.
They're on the pricier side. You know, you're going to pay potentially $200+.
Yeah.
I size up because I have incredibly wide feet. That being said, TYR makes a wider toe box lifter.
Okay.
I went with the Reeboks mainly to prioritize. They're great for squat, but they have one of the more rigid, stiffer soles. So when it comes to clean and press and split jerks, that is part of the design in an Olympic shoe is a very rigid bottom.
Okay.
So that's why I did that. But a lot of lifters now, Tier is very popular. They've had a very big, I've heard really good things. A lot of my friends wear them. TYR, wide toe box. Mikey Ramaleos's are another big one. Adi Powers. Do Win is a very old And there's like wood soled, there's, different kind. You don't need a wood sole. They're heavy. They're very popular in Olympic lifting, because of how rigid the wood sole is.
Okay.
But I would shop around, look at price point. My favorite two are Reebok, and I used to be a tester for Nike, so I had the Romaleos 3s, but I was out there testing for the 4s, and they made them for my foot. I couldn't fit my foot in a off-the-shelf Romaleos.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of years out of those Romaleos 3s. They're onto the 4s now. So there's degrees, there's different ones. And again, same thing I do for everyone. If you're shopping and you have questions on some final candidates, hit customer service, submit a ticket, and be like, hey, Nick sent me, he's helping me sort out what to find for footwear for lifters.
Okay.
And we can communicate through email and get you sorted. All right.
All right. Cool. Thanks. Other than light on the heels, anything else for squat, for back squats?
I don't really want to change anything in your squat right now.
Okay.
You're a little bit, you drift forward, but I think
Yeah.
part of that could be you're hitting a limit in your ankle mobility and it's peeling your heel up.
Yeah. I mean, forever I had to have plates under my feet until I started the pump club. So this is the first time I've ever actually been able to get the depth without having plates under my heels.
The plates under the heels are fine.
Yeah.
That those little thin 5s or 10s simulate the heel elevation you're gonna get out of the lifter. And those are
Okay.
totally fine.
Okay.
It's not something you have to ditch. But if you like, hey, if a goal of yours was to squat unassisted without any sort of elevation,
Yeah, that was kind of it.
you've done it.
Okay.
I want to optimize.
Yeah.
I want to
I'll
give
look
you
at the
as
lifters.
yeah. Let's see. We're rowing a little bit too far forward right here. I want to see, let's kick the side you're rowing with, kick the leg back. Let's get it out of the way. And I want to
Okay.
see your middle finger aim for that like belly button area.
Oh, all right. Okay. Bring it back.
Yeah, so your path will literally be aim for your hand right here, like bottom of the lap.
Okay.
Otherwise-
I know. Oh, sorry.
You're good?
I think, was it last week you were telling Torin to do landmine rows? If, like, I maxed out with my 50-pound dumbbells at home. If I did landmine rows, would that work as like the single arm?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how I demonstrated earlier, let me know, I can grab my rifle case again. If
Yeah,
the
use
side
the rifle case.
landmine's going to be that way.
Okay.
So the plates are on the outside of you because if they're on the inside, they're going to hit your chest.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So
Got it.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah. I have one more question.
Yep.
So, like, for deadlifts, I've gotten kind of to the point where my grip is limiting what I can lift. So I've gotten to 415, but if what's the point where you become too reliant on straps where you don't get any more, like, you don't get the grip strength improvement?
Are
You know what I mean?
over under?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do as much of your working sets without the straps as you can every single
Okay.
time. And then when you
Yeah.
start to fail, you strap, like, say you have 3 sets. If you feel your grip
Yeah.
starting to go at the end of the second set, strap up for the third.
Okay. Like in the
That's all
middle
it
of a
is.
set, if I'm trying to get 4.
You can, but
I
then you're
could
going to
do-
have essentially what's called a rest pause because you're going to have to then strap in and then continue, versus the
Okay,
constant.
yeah.
So it is an option. Yes, you can strap in the middle of a set, but what I strongly urge is because your grip's going to get better. You're still getting time under tension. You're still getting stronger.
Yeah.
When it comes to reps, typically higher reps is where your grip starts to fail.
Yeah.
But if you say you have 2 sets of 4 and the fourth rep on the first one, you were like, and you can only get 1 to 2 reps on the next set.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world if you strap up in the middle of the set. I'd rather
Okay.
you kind of time
Do
it.
like a drop set, almost.
No, I'd rather you just strap up before you hit the point of failure.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's brutal because you do that and then you go into like the farmer carries, and then by the end, I can't even like hold an apple anymore. So
Yeah. So
it's brutal.
the set
For
prior
your
to
four
failure,
arms.
strap up after
Yeah.
that, and then when you're doing farmers carries, no straps. And you could even go one step
Yeah.
further with the farmers if you're running out of weight on those. You can order
Yeah.
fat grips
Oh, okay. All
and
right.
put them over the dumbbell, and then you're gonna have like a whole new level.
Oh, so okay. I'll try that.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thanks, coach.
Yes, sir. Michael, rack pull workups. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted, Mike. Boom. Firing through, rolling the shoulders back, squeezing the hips. Outstanding. So I cued Michael into these when he's working up. I wanted him before he got into full range of motion, conventional deadlift workup. We wanted to address some of his soft lockouts. So this is kind of a weight where it's not taxing, but we're priming the movement pattern, the neural side of the lift to ingrain the execution. So when he starts working up, this is fresh and he's firing into his lockout. $275 by 3. Boom! Look at that lockout. Fucking nailed it, dude. Working. Yes. Mm-hmm. There's the third set, 310. He's on his glutes. Yeah, focusing on that lockout, squeezing the hell out of his glutes. I know them puppies are firing. You gotta reach back and make sure they're still there. Yep. Let me see that.
I put in a repeat by mistake at the end.
Okay. How did it feel with the rack pull prior to workup?
I'm not sure I felt a big difference. In fact, the rack pulls just felt like, what am I doing here? I really didn't get it, but apparently my body did.
Yes. So what they're doing is, this is what I'm looking for. Boom. Look at that. Those hips, those glutes contracting, firing to the bar, you stacking the shoulders on top. And look at where even in your first workup set, working one, look how you set. You set on top of your hips right at the end.
Yeah.
That one was even better. So we were trying to ingrain the finish of the pull where you've been soft in the past.
Yeah.
So we're attacking it from a neural standpoint and building the movement pattern at that part that needed that attention.
Yeah.
So we did it at a weight where it didn't tax you, but it woke you up. Okay, this is what we need to do. So we'll keep that in there for the next, I don't know, couple weeks.
Okay.
Just so we get practice and we keep building it. Because I'd like to see even these top sets. We got a little soft at 310.
That was a PR.
Yeah, that's why I didn't hear me him and haul about it, because I remembered, we were at around 300 before 295.
Yeah.
So really good things coming of it. So with that, whoops.
You need to see the video of the rack pull workups next week, or shall I just skip those?
I don't need to see the video because I see that you're doing them correctly.
Okay.
But look at how locked out your knees and hips and shoulders are on these. This is brilliant. This is textbook 101 on a lockout versus
what's coming.
See how soft we are here and here?
Yeah.
So I want you to mimic that. That's what I want you to create on your heaviest sets. That very commanding lockout, hips over knees. Knees don't have to be locked to the point of hyperextension, but we don't want them soft.
Right. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Pete. Deadlift issues. What do we got? What kind of issues we got here? Shit, I got deadlift issues.
Just a
We
rough
all got
day at
deadlift
the gym.
issues, except Ro. She don't have no deadlift issues, but we do. It's just position, man. So you're trying to squat your deadlift. So look how when you input leg drive, your hips immediately try to find position. This is much closer to the position you want to be in. So when you set up, what we want is we're going to bring your hips up to somewhere around here.
Okay.
And I want you to push that tailbone to the sky. So you're kind of here, boom, here. You should feel a stretch happen in the bottom of your glutes. So we're going to turn that tailbone to the sky, push the belly button to the floor, and we're going to bring our hips up, which in turn is going to suck our knees back, which is good. See, now your knees are out of the way. This is why I mean this is closer. Now we're in alignment. So it's a simple fix. Tailbone to the sky, belly button to the floor, bring your hips up.
What was driving me nuts was a rounded, I was looking at it. This is like my fourth set through, and I was getting pretty frustrated just looking at a rounded back sort of thing. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's because you were so far down, your hips were getting into flexion to try and get into that almost squat position. You weren't giving yourself the position to allow you to correct into neutral.
Okay.
You should find it a much easier now. Bring your hips up and then pushing the belly button to the floor and turning your tailbone to the sky. That it should give you more access to that position.
Right, excellent. I got another shot at it tomorrow. So great.
We record it.
All right. Thank you.
Mike, bodyweight squats, raised heels. Yes. All right, so I wanted to look at his width. I like this better. This is, yes. The width is okay. But my internet is not. We had a gnarly storm and the power went out like literally right before the Zoom call. For whatever reason after the storm. Come on. Okay. All right, so Mike, you see how we have this huge angle here. So herein lies that falling over. So you're squatting forward. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in tempo. So we want to go from here, and I want to see a less aggressive shin angle. So your front of your shins, I want to see track somewhere kind of where the side of your knee is. So there's less shin angle. So we're getting back into our weight needs to be in our heel from here. I want to see you apply pressure mid-foot and back. So with that, we're going to add tempo. So it's going to be 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, up. 4 count tempo. And I want you to fight for that depth while maintaining conscious of our angle. We've got good mechanics now. We've built your mechanics. So now we need to build our angle of where we apply the position. So we need to get kind of everything back and get you sitting into your glutes versus how you're sitting kind of into your knees and toes. So we're going to add in this tempo, generate a bunch of time under tension, and ingrain that path and let depth come. Position, then depth. Yeah, we're going to stick with the heels up for sure. Without a doubt. I like it way better. Yep. See how you're having to... Yep, we're sticking with the heels up. Night and day difference. Sherry, I'm sorry, Jessica. I just accepted Sherry into the Zoom, so Sherry was on my mind. Jessica, this is overall pretty good. We're a little out front, meaning see how that bar swings back? So in this bottom position, we're going to bring you back. Literally, we're just going to shift ever so slightly back. So we're here, we're going to go here. Mid-foot is where I want that weight. Because right now, where you're at, that bar looks far over your foot, as in toes. Bar's here. When we shift back, it's going to bring you closer to your shin line and more mid-foot with the bar. And it'll put you more into your midfoot and heels because we have this big gap of a triangle down here. So as it breaks, see how now we're back. But you had to pick it up first to get into position. Boom. You naturally drift back as you start the pull. Walter, Romanian dumbbell. Beautiful. Great hinge pattern, Walter. I want to see you push some weight on this a little bit. But your hinge pattern, how you're pushing so far back behind your heels with your glutes, that's what we want. Dumbbell front. We're favoring this side. I want you to be, or maybe it's, no, we're definitely favoring it slightly. Keep that in mind. I want you to focus. I want you to be aware of that favoring. Is there an injury? Is there some sort of, let me know, tag me in the thread in the app. And let me know if there's something that is causing you to favor one side that you have in history with any sort of injuries or anything. If not, oh, you're in here. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm here. So I'm not sure. How do you see that? What do you mean by favoring?
So look, when you hinge, we're over this leg more so than this one. Look at our center, and it is favoring this leg. So something, when you hinge, is pushing you. I don't know which side of the camera you use. This could be your right or left, depending on if it's mirrored or not. So this side, if it's your left side, if it is mirrored, you're hinging in a manner that favors that one slightly.
Okay.
So to do that, what I want you to do is when you do these, point your toes slightly out. I want you to squeeze your glutes, squeeze your butt, and pull the floor apart actively. You won't let your feet won't move, but I want you to input so you're trying to rip the floor apart. And what that will do is that will light up and cause activation on both sides. And it should push you more towards center because both are fighting, right? Both are engaged.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I will say imbalance and shift like this is incredibly common. I have it I shift to my right, mainly because from when my back got really, really bad, my right side was picking up a lot of the slack. So it caused actual slight twist in my pelvis. So when I squat and I haven't moved heavy for a while, when I first start heavy squats, I will actually shift and kind of, when I squat, I'll actually turn and it looks like I'm leaning, but what's actually is my hips are twisting. And I have to be conscious to center my hips and fire towards my left side, because if I don't do it, you can see it. See how I'm flipping this side versus now I'm pulling the floor apart, I'm squeezing my butt. See how that was way less?
Right.
We all do it. Not all of us. Some people don't, but I deal with it. And I do active things to, because address the pelvic shift, the pelvic twist. I'm doing movements in my workup to make it less and correct it. So don't think it's an abnormal thing or too detrimental. It's subtle. But I'm here to polish,
Gotcha. Thank you.
Just so you know, I saw you had a bunch, so I just went with the first two because I'm limiting everyone to two, just because I'd have had over 100 today.
Yeah.
Same with Sherry as well. She sent several. So Sherry, if you don't see your other ones in here, it's because I went through and tried to knock down, some of that count when it's 2 per person.
Hi, sorry, I don't know if I missed it or not. Are you just doing it now?
Yes, I'm just doing yours now. I was letting you know, I did it. I won't get all of yours in here because I have a limit now because the form checks are starting to get more and more.
Yeah.
It's 2 per person. So I just didn't want you to think I skipped them or forgot, or that's why it's not gonna be all 4.
Sorry, so obviously my first time in here and I was having kind of issues getting them in. I didn't know if they were uploading, and then all of a sudden I had uploaded all of them. And anyway, sorry for that.
No worries. I'm welcome.
Thanks.
So your squat fundamentally looks really good. We're just shallow.
Yeah. Well, to give you my backstory, I have double knee replacements, and I had a shoulder reconstruction. My third one now with a couple of big screws in there. So I'm building back. I was a pro athlete back in my day, but I'm
What was the discipline?
Snowboarding.
That's awesome.
and I'm a stunt person.
That's so cool. I used to snowboard. I did the junior nationals for slopestyle out in Park City years ago.
Nice.
It was when I broke my helmet. I overshot a 60-foot tabletop.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
Lucky to still
came
have a
down heel
brain.
heavy and whipped back.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So with this, I'd like to also see your width as well, because from the side I get the most info, but in certain cases when I think we might be able to, I'm curious to see your width, because we might be able to make depth a little easier if we're too narrow and we bring you out and it gives your clearance for hips to open up to sit. One of the other things, because do you feel pain at all in your knees when you squat?
No, just some tightness, and I'm working on getting, more flexion. I don't know how far I'm going to be able to get these new bionic knees to go. I can get down to at least like a 90, like parallel with my quads to the floor. Can't really so far get below that, I don't think.
Have you tried heel elevation?
No, I have not.
That could be another option on the table here with the potential restriction in the knee. So when we elevate that heel, it gives us more anterior tilt in the pelvis, which for a lot of people makes depth easier. You aren't terribly, you're not long femured, but you're not short femured, which means you're proportional, right? So within the realm of leverages, a lot of people that squat very vertically upright and are more conducive to high bar type squats, they typically have a short femur because the distance from here to here translates to where this bar is over. If you look, you're doing a good job here. You've got bar pretty much right over your midfoot. So if you were long femured, it would bring this further back, which would require you to have more of an angle, more essentially to be more over, because your hips are further away from the middle of your foot. So in turn, you have to get further over in the torso to compensate. So heel elevation affects that by allowing more anterior pelvic tilt and allowing you to get in a better position upright to compensate for that distance from hip to midfoot. So what it can also do is reduce the torque on the knee slightly. Or especially people that aren't very mobile in the hips. So there's a couple things that this can address to help potentially alleviate some of that, the knee stuff you have going on, that we could absolutely try. Your next video submission, I would like to see these from the front to see what our width looks like, because it could be as simple as getting you a little bit wider and it might open up depth. And then I also want to see from the side some heel with like 5 or 10 pound little plates underneath your heel to bring you up. The plates are going to be like midfoot and heel. You put your heels right on them and see. And I want to hear how that feels for you and see what it looks like at the same time. But overall, your squat pattern is very intact. You've got a strong midsection. This is where everything's supposed to be. You've got strong legs. So I don't think there's any, the beauty in this is it's not a strength issue for you. This is just going to be figuring out some movement pattern and some, let's call them hacks, to work around these bionic knees. And there's also, if the shoulders become a problem in the squat position, we have options there too. So I don't want you to think any of this is a death sentence. But with the knee and the tendons, a long muscle and a very elastic tendon is healthy and strong. So I don't want them to shorten over time and gradually increase a limitation on your range of motion. So this isn't just from a performance standpoint. This is a longevity standpoint.
Right.
You were a professional athlete. Your body wants to move. We don't want to restrict that. We want to open up that movement, get more movement on the table for you. So we're going to explore the options and work through this together and figure out where that answer lies. And I have a couple ideas already, but I want to see what those two little adaptations do straight out of the gate. And then that will help me narrow the plan.
So with the heel lift, like just put a couple of like 5 pound plates down, or I
One on
don't
each
know.
side.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That's all you need. Yeah.
And slightly wider than hip width for the heels.
So here's what I'll be more specific on that. So put the camera behind you, or in front, really. It doesn't matter. I need to see front or back allows me to see width better. So give me a rep in how you're squatting now. And then the next rep, bring them 2 finger widths wider on each side. That's it. Squat there. and let's see how that looks. And if I see it opening more within the width adjustment, then I'll know kind of what direction we need to go with your width. And then from the side with the plates. So as you're squatting, just literally do this on camera. So start with your normal, wherever that is, then go squat, squat, and kind of see, so I can see what they look like. And that gives me information. You moving gives me information.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Got it.
Welcome to Form Checks. This is a lengthy one. We've been getting into it here. They're not all this long. Some have been longer, some are shorter, but I like to make sure everyone gets their questions answered every single week. So I appreciate you showing up.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Outstanding hinge pattern. Neutral spine, not going deeper than you need to and creating flexion, trying to reach for more depth. This is really good. So the only cue I really want you to focus on, you have great control on the way down. When you come up, I want to see acceleration. I want to see some speed up happening. And what I want you to do is when you finish, I want you to initiate the concentric by squeezing your butt cheeks as hard as possible. Try to break the bar in half. So as you come, see how we're a little bit soft at the top. And what I mean by that is our hips are a little bit behind. So what this will translate to is deadlift and lockout position and lockout power. It's what I was working with on Michael with his rack pulls. So your hips are a little bit soft. So when we squeeze our butt as we come up, boom, like my shoulders roll back, they stack on my hips stacked on my knees. So I'm not leaning, I'm not pulling it back, I'm driving into it with my hips. Here, boom, and I'm squeezing. And hold that squeeze for a 1/1000, make it very prevalent.
Okay. Got it.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Torin. All right, so for context, Torin is on a hunt. He's out hunting stag, elk, being a Viking in Norway. And he's like, hey, I don't want to miss workouts. What can I do? So this is loosely what we came up with. We're using logs and rocks and anything he can get his hands on to maintain some sort of workout while he is out in the bush, if you will. So he found a tree and just started squatting it. And this is like one of the oldest school ways to train. This is where strongman, the sport I compete in, has its roots. So this is really fucking cool. And I love that he's doing this. He's no equipment, but he's making it happen. Outstanding. Pulling up on a bridge. Found a bridge. Go get some pull-ups in. He did a couple extra videos, but I think we can make an exception because I'm curious to see what he gets creative with in his videos here. And that's working grip because that's like fingertips. Oh, he did too. He sent me a video when we were talking about this. He sent before the form check. He had sent in a video. He was picking up stones and shouldering them and stuff, which is a great one. as well. One of my favorites. Stones are one of my favorite lifts. These are good, Jonathan. So I pushed Jonathan to really stack on the weight here on his top quarter squats and get him used to that heavier load. He's maintaining position pretty well. These are really good. This is what I wanted out of him on these. Well done, Jonathan. Dumbbell swing, just a form of a kettlebell swing. So I want to see a little bit more legs. The hinge is good, but I want to see you kind of arresting and initiating with the leg drive. So as we come up, we come down, and the first thing I do is I'm catching with the legs, then I'm hinging, then I'm extending with the legs and the hips simultaneously. Catching with the legs, into the hinge, leg drive, extension, glute squeeze. I can't emphasize enough how having a strong butt is such like a fundamental, like so much of what we do revolves around this part of our body being strong. Mark, deadlifts. All right. So we're a little out of position. So we're soft at the lockout. We need to finish that rep. So the same thing I was just talking about with Michael and some of the others on the lockout. We need to get those hips all the way through, shoulders over hips. So for you, we're going to need to back off the weight here because we've got to get some position right. And no more touch and goes. So what I gave to Sandeep, for you, because every rep kind of looks a little bit different, we need to figure out position, hold position, and lift. So every rep, we're going to do the same approach. We're going to do what's called a cluster. So if you have a 3x5, you're going to get down into position, get position, hold position, lift, up, down, all the way to the floor, stand up, reset, position, hold position, lift. So with your position, we are way out front. We need to bring that bar in over probably somewhere over here, midfoot. And we're going to bring our butt up slightly. So our hands are going to be just on the outsides of our legs. Our forearms can touch the outsides of our legs. So see how we are in all this flexion here? This is what we want to correct a big portion of. And a lot of that's going to do with position. Because you're so far out front, it's forcing you to be over. So bringing that back towards you. So we're here, we're so far over, we're going to bring our arms in on the side of our legs, which gives us more length. So we're going to go here, we're going to get back. Now the bar's over my midfoot. I'm going to go from this curved flexion, I'm going to push my tailbone to the sky and hold position and push the ground away. Not pick up the bar, not pull, push the ground away with our legs. To hold that position, we need to utilize the brace. So when we set our hips and we turn that tailbone to the sky and push the belly button to the floor, we're going to brace and clinch down with our abdomen. And that's what's going to maintain that position. So I want to see you back off the weight. I want to see you find position with a light deadlift, one plate on either side, somewhere around that, probably 50 to 70 kilo mark. And then we'll build up from there.
Well, all right. I'll give it a shot.
Cool. I look forward. We'll get you there, man. Mark, front squat, second attempt, front view. All right. All right, Mark, we're a little too narrow. We need to make room for our hips. And it's going to allow us to get way more glutes into it in the top half as well. You've got big, strong quads. Great sign for squatting. So I want you, if our shoulders are here, I want us to step underneath of our shoulders. So we're very narrow, almost in like a hack squat position. So if we're front squatting here, I want you to come out just to here. Not super wide. I don't think you need to be super wide. I think, but you getting out a little bit under your shoulders will create much more clearance for your hip. See how your knees almost try to collapse? Because here we can't get that drive out. And our glutes are going to keep our knees on track. So if we get out, we can drive those knees out over our pinky toes and really sit between our heels and have much more access for bigger muscles to do more work. So the good sign is you're strong, which means we get you in the right position, that your ceiling's going to go up. Amanda, barbell squat. She was absolutely burying these, like one of the deepest squats I've ever seen.
Hey Nick, I'm actually here live today.
Sweet.
I know I'm on the road, but I'm just on no video, but I'm listening in.
No worries. So she's borderline what I'd call hypermobile. Not borderline, she's definitely hypermobile. And she was going so far down before she had this pendulum effect where her hips would actually travel forward. This week, this looks better. This looks a little more controlled. Do you get a back pump when you squat?
What do you mean? What do you? I
Like,
mean, I know
do
what
you-
the pump is. Go ahead.
Do you get like a lower back pump? Do you get like a lot of pump here when you squat?
Not that I'm noticing explicitly. I'm just trying to really maintain complete like 360 trunk rigidity from like my butt to my shoulders, just like in my everything that's not my legs or my arms. I'm just trying to keep it as super solid, like filling the balloon as I possibly can.
Right. So you have, how tall are you?
I'm 5'3.5".
You've got long femurs. You've got a really long femur, which makes sense for why you squat in the position you squat. So I don't know if you heard the conversation earlier when I was explaining squat technique and how femur length is a very big factor on people's upper body position. So this isn't a bad thing. That's not at all what I'm saying, but it makes sense why you hinge the way you hinge when you squat and why you come back, you initiate your squat initially very drastically with your hips. The reason is because of the distance from knee to hip, your hips have to get out of the way to get this bar over the middle of your foot. So with a longer distance means our torso has to come over more to keep us over center. Whereas a short femur, I'm short femured, I naturally have a more upright position because if I come over further, because my distance from knee to hip is shorter, the bar is going to be out front on me. So it's a matter of leverage and bar path and where you need to be to manage that. So to decrease this back angle, heel elevation is we'll do that. It will make it so you can be a little bit more upright in posture, and that could be as simple as like lifters, right? I want you to start doing some tempo squats because you fly down there.
Okay.
Boop, you almost speed up as you descend. So I want to start having you generate tension on the descent. It's really the bottom of your squat where you speed up the last little bit and you lose that tension. So where this is really good for you in volume and cranking out reps, when you start getting into the squats that are like 1, 2s, and 3s, losing that tension can work against you, because it's less margin for error because the weight's such a higher weight, there's less power available. Whereas the lighter and the higher volume, you have plenty of power available, and it's more taxing on the motor. So that little bit of rebound it helps you slightly, but it isn't as detrimental to where when we get into your heavier effort, where you're 1 rep max, you're pushing weight on 2s and 3s, that loss of tension kicks you out and could cause a misgroove because we didn't maintain that tension. So when we get down into the bottom of this squat, this is why I want to do tempo. I want you to start doing 3 count eccentric. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Depth up, fire. And you can start doing that with like your workup sets. So when you first get under a bar, empty bar, 3 count eccentric. First workup set, 3 count eccentric. Then we get to, I want all your workups to your working weight to have that eccentric. So we're not dive bombing on the squat. I don't want you to reduce some of that elastic tension and reactive tension we get to use your advantage, but I don't want the release to happen in that very bottom. Right. That was actually right there is when we're kind of releasing. So versus arriving versus diving down into it. I want your depth to arrive. But even here, this is better than the first submission because we're not traveling forward like we were before. It's not pushing your lower body out of groove. So these are all really good signs. I just want you to work up with tempo and practice generating the tension before you get to your working set.
Okay, thanks. I do own weightlifting shoes.
Okay.
Would you say just like throw those on, or would you say my gym has I forget the actual name of them, but they're these long horizontal plates that are like at a 45 angle that you can put your feet on.
Yep.
Like, does it matter what I put under my feet to get my heels up?
I imagine the lifters are less aggressive in angle than the plates.
Okay.
Let's start with the lifters, see what it looks like, and go from there.
Sounds good. Great. Thank you, Nick.
Yes, ma'am. Great job. Juliana, dumbbell incline bench press. All right. So this angle, I want you to pay attention to, Juliana, is on the descent. Look at the weight in relativity to our elbow. We are way out front of our input to power. So this will severely limit. These dumbbells need to be over top the elbow. So if we don't press, you have to literally, when you press, watch how you input. You have to kind of scoop them back up versus if we maintain alignment and drive, we have a straight input to power and we get leverage back. So coming out of that, when you get heavier, this is how I know you're too light on these. The fact that you can even bench at that angle and hold the weight in that position of, that'd be like overhead pressing like this. It's almost a raise. Whereas pressing here, we want our elbows underneath the weight.
Okay. I think last time I did bench press, I needed to get them, towards my sort of bra lines. I think I was maybe too focused on that a little bit. And
yeah, and how we do that isn't by doing this.
Yeah.
So how we get it down to that line to create that bar path is we drive it, we steer with our elbows, we don't turn. So if I'm coming down too high, it means I'm too far back. If I'm coming down too far forward, they fall. So how I'm steering it is if I'm pressing on that incline, I'm guiding with my elbows on that line and then driving back up towards my face.
Okay, awesome. I'll try
That
again.
makes sense?
Thank you. Yes, yeah.
Sweet.
Brilliant, thank you.
Dan, clean and press. All right. We're almost through them here, and then I'll open things up to a Q&A for anybody that's stuck around. So make sure you're maintaining that neutral in the hole, in the lumbar. We're a little bit far forward, just slightly. Clean position, slightly different than deadlift position. All right. So when you catch, so you're pressing differently depending on the rep. So we're kind of push pressing, we're kind of strict pressing. They call for different things. They call for different rack positions. So we got to pick one. Do you want leg drive or no leg drive? Because if you are going to do leg drive, we need to get that bar into that front rack. And we need to dip violently. But when you catch, you see how you catch with soft knees? You're coming up, you're catching, and you're holding here and then trying to press. When we clean, we catch, we stand up. Rebrace, squeeze our butt, dip drive, throw and catch. Our knees travel out over our toes. We don't sag forward, out over our toes. Violent and fast. Strict press versus push press position. Push press, we want that deep rack position. Elbows high. It's actually on the delt. We're not holding the weight in our hand. Our hands are on the bar, so our legs throw it, and then we finish with our press. If you're strict pressing, the weight is in our hands, and we are in some thoracic extension. Boom. And we're opening the window. Our head is out of the way. We're driving back up towards our head, towards the center of the head. So thoracic extension, proud chest, drive, weight is directly over our elbow. Boom. Two different press positions. So if you want to strict press, fine. If you want to push press, fine. But we need to get the right position for the right variation. Jan, seated dumbbell cleaner press. We've been working on Jan's clean for the seated dumbbell clean. Yes, you did it. That was it. You didn't have this big arc and swing around. You get a light swing and then you yank them up and flip. Much better. Well done, Jan. Good job. Greg, looks like dumbbell incline press. It looks good, especially from this angle. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're going down. We're going down. And we're gone. Greg, it looked good. Be a little bit easier it'd be good to see that from the side as well if you're having issues there, to kind of see what bar path and where your positioning is. But overall that looked good. I hope your phone made it. Bart, front squat with the strap method, lost control on the
third rep.
Yeah. Squat looks good. So it
Looks
looked like it was how you strapped your hands in. It looks like you're doing it backwards. they're coming over top your hand, like coming out here and coming around. Whereas if you crank in this direction, so they come out the top, so there's a loop pulling here, so the strap connection is coming out of the top to the bar. So then you have does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
I will rewatch it like you said. I
yeah.
still need to get better
So
at
if the bar is here and this end is tied to the bar right here, this is the bar. I'm gonna take that strap, I'm gonna crank in this way. So when I go up and around the bar, you see how the strap is coming out this side of my hand and now I'm tied in? Yep.
Yeah, I think, but it's like you mentioned on your tutorial, I don't have as much input to the bar, and it was like a little forward, and I just lost it. So like you said, I wanna squat heavier, but the wrists are screaming, so I'm doing what I can.
That's okay. I think if we kind of adjust how you're tying in, like boom, in, bars up here, crank in, and we're here, it usually gets a pretty good bite.
Okay, I'll try it. Thank you.
Your squat itself look really pretty though, man. Dumbbell, rear foot, elevated. So Bulgarian split squats is the other name for them. These look good, man. You could get away with maybe coming out a hair further with the front foot, but your posture, how your depth, your stability, these all look fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like the foot could be a little more up front.
Well done.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you as always.
Anytime. Goblet squat progression. Roscoe, 30 pound. Keep it close, Roscoe. Keep it, boom, right? Keep it in tight. There we go. Oh boy. I mean, it's not really a goblet squat at that point, but it is a squat. It's more of like a zercher. So the goblet squat is the method of how you're holding it. That up here, hands under the weight. A zercher is a specific carry that is fundamental to strongman, but you can also squat. You can hold something heavy in the crutches of your arms down here. It really takes a lot of back strength as well to maintain. So this isn't bad. It's just not a goblet squat. This is very much a zercher squat, which is a valid front-loaded squat variation. It's more conducive to a heavier weight, being that you can hold more weight in that position than here, but it also is more taxing. So I wouldn't call that, you were a goblet squat up until this is where it was still goblety. This was not a goblet squat. This was definitely a zercher. Either way, great job. We can get a
Thanks.
little deeper on the goblet squats. That's really about it.
So I did 2 years of useless physical therapy for misdiagnosis of pain that radiated down from my hips to my toes. So I got an x-ray from a hip specialist, and it's not a piriformis issue pressing on a nerve. They call it a radiculopathy of the lumbar pressing on a nerve root.
Yep.
So I'm supposed to avoid straight squats and deadlifts and do variations. So I need need a list of those I can do to swap.
Yeah, so basically there's no vertical compression is
Okay.
what they're trying to avoid.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
that
the vertebrae is like they showed the X-ray, and it's the lowest one. It looks like on the X-ray, and it looks like it's narrower on my right side and thicker on my left side.
So it's
whatever.
L5S1.
What is it?
L5S1.
I'll take your word for it.
So they're trying to avoid vertical compression and torsion.
Okay.
It sounds like. Yes. A sports PT told you this?
Well, the hip specialist that looked at the X-ray just said avoid deadlifts and squats, and
Okay.
the report was, I think, it had the information.
Are you willing to get a second opinion?
Sure.
Could your
That'll be my third opinion.
You're where at in Maryland?
Hunt Valley area, edge of Reisterstown and Hunt Valley.
So Columbia is not that far.
No.
Could if I gave you a contact, his name's Brian. His business is called Hex PTP.
Okay.
You can pull it up on Instagram, Google, Brian Hunter, Sports PT. Reach out via DM. You could probably pull up the number and everything on. You have Instagram, right?
No, I don't do social media.
Okay. So, are you all? Do you have your internet pulled up right now?
Yeah. Hex PTP in Columbia.
Yes. That's my guy.
All right.
Yep, it's the Red Branch Road.
Okay.
There's both text and phone number you can call. Shoot him a text, give him your name, tell him I sent you. I would like you to go see him for an assessment. Let him know if you have emails and everything with the imagery.
Right.
Have that handy so you can send that to him. He'll probably want to take a look.
Okay. I took a picture on my phone that I can show him, but I'd love to get it sent so it looks a little clear.
Yeah. So I'd like to have his opinion, being that you have access to someone I trust very much, especially with back stuff. Because in my experience, a lot of doctors, the amount of times I got stop, no, don't. And then I go back and I'm like, I'm better. And they're like, oh, just stop deadlifting. I'm like, no, I pulled a PR 2 weeks ago in contest and pulled 20 pounds heavier than I've ever pulled. And like I told you to, yeah, well, they don't, doctors, unfortunately, and this is where I really disagree with the knowledge that, and I understand these specialists are very specialized in their thing, surgeries, hips, body parts, far more than I. But they're not specialized on the rehab and recovery. Partially because if they tell you to do something and then you wind up hurting it, then you can say, oh, doctor so-and-so told me to, and it holds them liable. That's part of the barrier. Sports PTs and performance have a different approach. They are much more aggressive and try to not only restore, but improve the area. Whereas stuff coming out of hospitals typically kind of stops where you get to the point of good enough and safe. Whereas sports PTs have, how do we build it stronger and mitigate that through making it a much more robust part of your body so that injury doesn't replicate or it's farther and fewer in between.
Okay. I'd love to get up to squatting my body weight. One knows.
I don't think it's off the table. And Brian and I communicate directly, so I will let him know that you're going to reach out. And I'll talk to him, and I'll get what he's got to say personally, and then we can kind of go from there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Alex, flow vibe. Okay, a little clean and press. This is good. So you had a good, cleaned them right up there. But when you're pressing, we don't want to press from that staggered stance. So if you clean from there, that's fine. I'd rather you start where you want to continue. So if we clean here, we hinge, flick, catch, we get our wide base, proud chest, and we stack our shoulders onto our lats, and we strict press over our head. We don't want to press in a staggered stance. We want to get in a point where we get good glute engagement. We can stack our body on top of each other. Shoulders on back, back on erectors, erectors on glutes. Full body tension. All right, that was the last one. This was a long one. We're at 3 hours, but the floor is open for Q&A. Rolanda, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, question, because I had so many thoughts. Now that I know my deadlift is not a hot mess, thank you. All your hard work, I appreciate you. But I do have like it's not a pain, it's a twinge, it gets tight, whatever, in my lower right back. I've had it off and on for a few years, was in a car accident. It kind of, irritated it, whatever. And had to have my glute needled not that long ago to get rid of some issues with my PT. So that made me think, when you were talking to, I think it was Michael, and you were telling him you could see that he had squeezed his butt or whatever while he was deadlifting and power. But you also said something like a strong butt is, sorry, I didn't write it down, I already forgot. But you said, strong butt is where it's at. So when I get that a little bit, I don't have it while I'm deadlifting, by the way, but I can feel it after the next day. What do you think I need to work on, since my form is not a hot mess?
You were in a car crash. Was there any diagnosis, imagery?
Yeah, no, thankfully, no, I was okay. It was just one of those things where it kind of came about shortly after, and it was almost like, I won't say it was in my head, but like all the things, and it just kind of came about, and it's never, ever totally gone away. And then did realize when I went back to my PT that,
it's in your
I
back.
needed right in my lower right back, literally like where
So can you set the phone down, turn around, and put your finger on it?
Sure. Let me see if I don't, where my angle is. Literally like right there.
So like sacral joint.
Ish, yes.
Yeah, very common. Probably nerve or disc. Not the end of the world.
Like
but I want you to start doing at the start and the end of all of your deadlift sessions. Do you know what a back extension is? A flat back extension on like a GHD?
I do. Yeah.
I want you to do 1 minute holds.
Oh shit. Okay.
The last thing you do as part of your warm up, I want you to do banded iso clams. So you're going to start with a banded iso clam. And remember, I don't want you rolling your hip out to open. I want you shoulder on the ground, driving that top hip forward and opening. And I want you to hold for a minute with a band around your knee. Then I want you to roll over. And I want you to do the same thing. Then after you do them, go to a point, if you have a GHD or Axis, something like that, put the pad just shy of your belly button and hold a flat back extension for a minute.
Okay.
And then do it again at the end of your workout.
Okay. Great.
Do it
I
on
don't
the
have the
wrist.
machine, but I can do it at home on my own bench. Like I can make it work. So, okay,
Yes,
one
do it on
minute.
your rest
You ain't,
days.
yep.
Do it on your
Okay.
rest days
You
as
ain't messing
well.
around.
3 sets each side on the banded iso clams, and then 3 rounds of 1-minute holds in the back extension. Let's see
Alrighty,
how that
on
looks
it.
after a week or 2.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Bart, hit me.
So Nick, how can we help you like bring more people in? Like you mentioned on this post, we could upload our videos. I unfortunately don't have them from that way back. Like this Zoom was a perfect like showcase of your skills, like what you said to Amelie. You don't want her to get hurt, or you showing Roscoe the sports PT way. So what else can we do? Because you mentioned it, like there are many regulars here. You would like to see new faces. So what can we do? How could we help you?
That's a great question, and I'm not even sure if I know the answer to that. I mean, I see people, like, I get tagged all the time. Hey, submit a video to Nick's form checks. He can help with this. You guys are kind of already doing that in the app in and of itself. And I intentionally geared this article around getting new people in the door, because I don't think a lot of people realize, the asset it can be to have form checks, especially, like, I'll be totally honest, like, what the month-to-month breakdown is for this app to get this kind of service. People pay, $100 a month for that, in the coaching world. So getting people to, I mean, part of it I think is just time. Like today I saw a bunch of new names, and this is Amanda's, second week or so. There's a couple other new faces in here, and so we're gradually getting, more people on board to get them the help they need for their lifts. You guys already do a really good job within the app, talking about, hey, Nick can help with this. Submit a form check. You guys are already doing that. I see it. I appreciate it. I'm not a marketing guy. I don't fucking know these answers. If you guys are posting stuff to social media, potentially like saying, hey, we squats approved, get to do form checks, however you want to say it, we're doing form checks within the app, then that's like kind of new member acquisition, if you will, and getting people curious, like, oh, they're getting form checks, what kind of app is this? This is me spitballing. I'm not a marketing professional, like I said, and I want to say that first and foremost. So I don't fully know the answer. I'm not afraid to say I don't know, because if I wasn't, then I'd be talking out of my ass. And at least I try not to do that. But if I do talk out of my ass, I want you guys to know I'm talking out of my ass. So you take it with a grain of salt. I don't know is the full answer, because I see you guys tagging people to submit the form check. I think it's more of you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink type of situation. And that's why I kind of focused the article around, like, hey, I get you don't want to look like an idiot in front of a bunch of people, but look, this is where Amelie is an all-star. She doesn't care how dumb she looks when she makes a form check. Like, was her tire flip completely jacked up? Absolutely. She doesn't care, but she understands she's got to get that in to get better. And that's like that's where really people could take note from Amelie, is that she's willing to, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Here it is. Help.
Like I just did.
What?
Like I just did.
Yeah. Like it's even if there's a chuckle out of me or something, it's not a ha ha at you. It is, things can be funny without, someone getting made fun of, or I fell out of my chair on a Zoom meeting like 2 weeks ago. Like I stretched and the chair tipped over. And like if people weren't laughing at that, I'd be alarmed because I'd laugh at that. So it's we're not even when there's a laugh or a haha, it's not necessarily an at or at their expense. We can appreciate, for me, when I see someone brand new and doing something potentially I've never seen before, that's what's funny to me, is because I've never seen anyone do it that way. That's almost impressive. We're gonna fix this. It's more of just appreciation of the ingenuity, if you will. So that's really all it is. We're here to learn. I'm here to help. And with helping you guys, I'm learning. When I encounter those things I've never seen before, that's tools to my arsenal, right? I'm equipped for the back stuff. And Roscoe's a unique situation that he's 40 minutes from where I live. So I can actually direct him to hands-on help versus having to troubleshoot and brainstorm from where I'm at. And when that's available, I will always go to that option because I'm going to send him to Brian, who I know is a lights-out sports PT, and he can do a really good fucking job. So I can't do that if they don't submit a form check. So getting people to experience it, I think, is all it takes. But I think how we get them to experience it, I don't know that answer. And I think if you guys just keep doing what you're doing, mentioning it, I will keep, kind of drilling it home. And we've got a really, really good group here. We've got people that have come a long way. We have a really robust group of regulars. And when we're at these meetups in person, like everyone gets on, everyone has a good time, and it's a cool, really cool community we've built. Gratz, for example, like we were out till 2 a.m. the last night at some little pizzeria I'm a coach. I'm not above anyone. If you're fun to have a beer with, let's fucking drink a beer. Like that's what this is about. So I'm here to help you, but at the same time, you're helping me continue to be a better coach. So how do we advertise that? I don't know. And but it's something I can take to Adam and Catch, because we're always thinking about. Catch talks about. He's like, how do more people not utilize this? We don't know, because I'd be all over it, So that's a great question, Bart. I appreciate that. Amanda, hit me.
Hey, Nick, I have 2 really quick questions. The first one is, okay, so forgive the randomness of this, but let me give context before my question. So I'm a professional musician. I perform, I teach, I gig. I play drums and percussion, so I have a lot of heavy instruments and gear that I schlep. And I was wondering if, not next week, but like it just in general in future form checks, could I possibly submit a video of me deadlifting my timpani? Very big kettle drum. Okay, thank you.
I think, did you ask this in a comment?
Oh, I did, but I guess I never went back to read it, but I think I did.
I don't think I got to it. I saw it because I browse everything and then I try to and I don't think I got to it, but yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
That's
Awesome.
totally
Okay.
fine. I don't even know what that instrument is, but we're gonna
Yeah,
do
it basically
together.
looks like a big giant bowl that's like 32 inches in diameter, and it's about 20 inches off the floor, and I have to deadlift it and get it into my car. So
It's basically a strongman implement. Got it.
pretty much, yeah. I was thinking that too. Yeah. So okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks. So my
Let's
second
figure it
question-
out.
Awesome. Thank you. And then my second question, first, thank you again for the great advice about the tempo for my squats.
Mhm.
I was wondering, in my program, should I also implement that tempo advice for any other squat movement I'm doing? Because I just knocked out a bunch of goblet squats this morning. I have Bulgarian split squats. Like, should I do it with every squat motion?
Tempo is always a good thing to exercise because time and attention and effort are the must-haves in this. So assistance movements like split squats and I'm sorry, what was the other one you named? Bulgarian goblet
I was
squat.
doing goblet squats, yeah.
Tempo on the eccentric is totally acceptable. It is totally fine. You could even do them so it's like a 2 or 3 count. It doesn't have to be as brutally slow as it does the workup. We're trying to accomplish something specific in your actual squat. You can absolutely add tempo to an eccentric on your assistance movements. Totally fine.
Okay, because I'm just thinking like if it helps build consistency across just the squat movement pattern generally, like I would imagine that's a good
Yes,
thing, right?
it's adding tempo on a Bulgarian split squat is great. The specificity on why I have you doing it on your actual squats and just the mechanics of a Bulgarian split squat, you're limited on depth because of the knee anyway. Like the knee's going to hit the ground. So that's not as much of a factor, but loading that quad with a shitload of time under tension, you're going to get gains. So it's not going to hurt anything, but it can help.
Cool. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Thanks, Nick.
Yes, ma'am. Mark, hit me.
So this is well related to the deadlifts from earlier, I suppose. At a higher weight, I was struggling with lifting the weight while keeping my hand basically next to each other on the bar, and I found I got a lot better grip by just keeping them opposed. Is there a specific rule of thumb or anything I should watch out for when in regards to this?
Yeah, just make sure you keep that. So you have pronation and you have supination. So I always say it like bowl of soup, supination, supinated.
Yeah.
When you are mixed grip, which unless you're hook gripping, which is a totally different technique, we don't need to get into it. Double overhand is inferior in every way, shape, or form because the bar rolls. So it rolls with both hands.
Exactly.
The mixed grip cancels the roll and it rolls opposite because you're pulling opposite, right? With that supinated hand, the hand that is palm up, you have to be very conscious. And even when you're double overhanded straps, keeping those arms straight. Just when you're supinated, if you bend and kick back with that elbow when you're trying to fight, if you try and pull that way, it will load the bicep more so. And we don't want you to tear a bicep on a heavy pull.
No.
As long as you keep your arms straight, you're fine.
All right, good to know.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Brian.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for taking time today. First, it was great running into you in the airport last month. Hope I didn't surprise you too much when I sneaked up behind you.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I wish I had a little more time. I wish I had saw you earlier. I could have sat down and talked for a little bit, but yeah,
sure,
we were heading out for the week, but we didn't get actually to Santa Barbara till Monday, so we missed going out to the event. My question is, so I must have been drunk. I thought a while back you had said on the straight leg deadlift to basically go all the way back to the floor, kind of reset, and then pull again. But now I've seen a couple of videos where you just wanted to start from the floor and then kind of do the motion down to keep that tension in the hamstring. So the last couple, we said I recorded it this morning, but the last couple I've been doing it all the way down, kind of resetting, sort of trying to tighten my legs and then pull with the bar like still an inch from my shin instead of like with the deadlift, pushing my legs against it, just kind of keeping it out. So I wasn't sure if I'm just crazy or if that's a way to do it.
When the resetting I have when people are having trouble in their setup and finding position. So they're not touching and going. Every rep, they have to start their setup from the top and go. Stiff leg deadlifts. So there's a technicality. And it's not something I adhere to a very strict extent. Reason being is Romanian deadlifts and stiff leg deadlifts are very similar. And they're focusing and prioritizing the same hamstring and glute activation. They just do it differently. A stiff leg deadlift technically starts at the floor, and you're just eliminating as much leg drive while maintaining lumbar neutrality. Some people don't have the range of motion or the muscle pattern yet to differentiate the fine-tune things between RDLs and stiff legs and conventional. So what I'm trying to do is basically curb people overthinking the nuances between the three. So I'm not a hypermobile person with a hinge pattern because I utilize that tension for my position. So the RDL is the one where you kind of go here and you stop, right? It never touches the floor. You just push your hips really fucking far back to get that stretch. A stiff leg deadlift, I'm going to deadlift off the floor, get my hips as low as I need to not use leg drive, but to get into my position. So if I'm too high, I'm in flexion. I got to get them low enough, just enough, so that I can not have flexion. Conventional deadlift, even lower hip position. So a stiff leg deadlift technically is supposed to return to the floor. The reason why I don't enforce that on here, because when it comes to fundamentals, it's not as important. I'd rather you have your deadlift and some sort of less leg drive variation and work on that glute and hamstring activation without me having to build you a third position when you're still trying to get your deadlift form and your RDL form down. So it's just less stimulation, less confusion. If you see SDLs or RDLs and you're typically, most people on here are doing an RDL when it says SDL, that's fine. Totally fine, totally acceptable. I'm not expecting the higher level advanced lifters. I will have them adhere to that a little bit better because they're through the point of having to think about the position. They know what that feels like, what that looks like. But there's such a broad spectrum of people that are really still honing that deadlift position and the nuances that come with it and the RDL. I don't want to add, it's a little bit of both, but different. So it's technically a deadlift off the floor, but it's not quite an RDL because you have to use a little bit of leg drive just to get in position to not be in flexion. So what you heard was me, likely every rep starts off the floor. I was telling someone to deadlift that they need to work on that first pull position and no touch and goes.
Mm-hmm.
RDLs, they don't even return to the floor.
All right, cool.
You may have been drunk. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
I thought it was a straight leg deadlift. You had told somebody you wanted them to start from the floor. I think it might have just been the first rep, but I don't know. I must have misheard. Like, oh, he wants me to start from the floor with all these. I had no idea.
No worries.
All right, cool. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? Any more questions before we shut her down?
Oh, I have a question. Yes.
Okay. Front
squat. How do you tighten the muscles in the back? Are you pulling the?
I'm gonna show you. Stop where you're at. Just stop. So if I'm in the front rack position, peel your elbows apart. And what's going to initiate them is the rear delt and the upper back. And it looks exaggerated here when I do it. You're not going to be able to get that far. When you're under load and your hands are on the bar, it's literally going to look like this. That's it. You squeeze the whole time.
And I went to the sport physio, and she wasn't able to find what caused the pain. But I have like a pain right on the head of the clavicle and the little muscle just right there. And I'm looking at what could have caused that, because she said it's kind of a trauma, but the shoulder blades are strong and moving well. So I was wondering if maybe the barbell when doing front squat is maybe crushing the head of the clavicle and the muscle in front of it, and could be the cause of that. Have you ever heard about a clavicle problem with front squats?
Not there. I've heard people like bruising the bone here on like cleans.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I've never had, not once, someone having it could, it shouldn't be crushing.
Because the head of the clavicle is inflamed, it's swollen, and it's been like that for about 6 weeks. Of course, it's reducing, but it's still there. And even though I have been off workout,
did she take you through a movement assessment to find out what triggers pain?
Not yet. That was the first assessment, and she was like, on my athletes, I see either this or that, but you have both, so I don't know what caused that. It's like a trauma. Like if I got hit super hard on the clavicle, but I never noticed when that could have happened. So I'm looking at places where it could have triggered.
When you move it, is there any sort of movement?
Oh yeah, it's definitely when I'm going upwards with a weight, and slightly pulling inward. So that will trigger the pain.
But it doesn't hurt while you front squat.
No.
So she didn't take you through a movement assessment to find pain points and impingement.
Well, we were in a empty room in a different local, so I don't know why they invited me there for the first assessment. I thought I would be in a gym and doing stuff, but it wasn't like that.
Well, what did they assess? Like, what did they do?
They had me do push-ups and do a lateral raise with a dumbbell and move frontward, like. Okay. And she was listening and feeling some kind of clicking, because it makes some click when it moves like this.
Yep.
And then she had me. She placed some bands, so that it pulls my shoulder backwards. And she asked if the pain was still there, and it was still there. It was maybe a little bit better, but definitely not solving the issue. So she gave me, for instance, we find out that I'm not able to much open the arm, like that's my maximum. So she gave me exercises to be able to open, and then she said, okay, lay on the side and do stuff like that for the some kind of the cuffs, the shoulder cuffs, rotators, stuff like that.
It could either be subscap or a rotator cuff, it sounds like.
But she said, she specifically said that she tested the rotator cuffs things, and they were fine, because there were absolutely no pain, and the pain is really specifically on the head of the clavicle, and a really small muscle right in front in the delt, or maybe pec. And
did she test the labrum at all?
She tests what?
The labrum.
Probably. I wouldn't be sure of the name of that muscle, but
let me Google Translate.
Probably the same Latin form.
Labre or Bourrelet, Bourrelet.
I couldn't tell if she did test it.
That would be the other thing, with some sort of pressing.
And you see, when I was doing close grip pull down during the workout, when I'm up, it clicks on the way down. It does a click, and then it moves really well. But then when it goes up, it clicks, and it's always like that. And I tried.
Did she have you do any of that?
Pardon me?
Did she have you do the stuff where you were getting the symptoms?
Well, some other type of exercises, yes. but I wasn't in a gym when she assessed me.
Okay. When is your next assessment?
In 2 weeks.
Okay. So in the meantime, we're just gonna kind of back off the things that really piss it off, keeping pain like 2 out of 10. No more than. We need to get to the assessments because I can't sit there and move you and feel what she's feeling. I'm also not a physical therapist, but I've had shoulder injuries, pretty strong man, and pretty familiar. So get through that next assessment and let's see what info she can find, and then we can figure out how we want to approach training with what comes of it.
And I think during the bench, even though I place my shoulder blades in the pocket, I think I'm not squeezing them enough.
Potentially, yeah.
So since she said that I should be opening the arms like that, then it makes the movement of my shoulder blades touching together, and I think that's maybe a place where I could have injured myself during a bench, maybe.
It could be. I mean, there could be.
Because what
multitude of things
you get if you don't squeeze the shoulder blades together while pushing hard on a bench? That would be in the shoulders.
Yeah. So what happens is if you aren't retracted in the back and you aren't stacking your shoulders onto your lats, those shoulders are floating. Now the joints are getting impacted by the weight, trying to bear the weight versus stacking it onto our muscular system.
Yeah, so I'm contracting them down, but maybe not enough backwards while benching.
It's back and you kind of roll them back and down.
Yeah. So I was basically rather only doing like down. Just.
Sometimes this is just part of it, Benoit. Like the amount of times there's a reason why I'm experiencing this type of stuff. It's because the amount of times I've been to a sports PT for a pain, for a tweak, for an injury, the amount of money I've spent on imagery, and the amount of times I've spent at the hospital for MRIs, X-rays, it would make your head spin. So it's part of it is stuff that has nothing to do with lifting. Some of it is I abuse the hell out of my body. So I know at any first signs of impingement or tweak or anything, I'm like, gotta go. Like, I want to get it before it snowballs. So this can be we're wearing and tearing things. Like we're using our body in a stressful manner for improvement. And the risk is very, very much worth the reward. The benefits far exceed the detriments. So part of this is you kind of got to accept those terms that these things can happen even if you're doing things right. You know, you could have had something going into this that wasn't symptomatic. Now we're applying load to it week after week after week, and it progressively gets worse to the point where it does become pain symptomatic. That's real too. It doesn't necessarily mean you did something wrong or bad or whatever. These things happen. Wear and tear.
I would have loved that it resolves by itself after at least 3 weeks of being off.
Well, who wouldn't? Shit. I'd love for all my shit to just resolve itself out. That'd save me so much time. Who wouldn't? But it can be part of it, man. I wouldn't lose sleep over it. Just know that these are the waters you kind of have to wade through from time to time. And the fact that you're going to a PT is good. And make sure when you go to the PT, use that and retain that information, because this is stuff you can apply going forward. Say you have the same thing come up a year from now, and you're like, I got a procedure for this.
Do you think that it would be a good idea to always have PT exercises in our daily workouts?
Yeah, there's stuff there's stuff I do in my warm-ups. Like if I'm deadlifting, I have a list of things that I do before every workout, and then I have specialty things for my back that I do prior to getting underneath the bar that I got from PT.
Because for instance, when you have elbow pain by doing dumbbell curls, then I'm doing the warm up that is written in the app. But I figured out that doing hammer curls, like two sets of 20 hammer curls before doing my main sets, totally remove the pain that I could get from doing my main dumbbell curls.
So that's totally fine. And this is where when someone goes, what do you do for warm up? What should I be doing? I'm not in your body. This is part of the experimentation that is so very important to your warm up. Because there's things that I do that I didn't get from PT that I just found that worked for me and became preventative type stuff to tweaks and pains that I've had. And there's other stuff I've gotten from PTs that I use procedural wise. There's some stuff I only use when I feel something happening or starting to come up, I attack it, versus the stuff I keep in for preventative. You found something, I go, I'm having this issue. I'm going to use light dumbbells, get a pump in, get blood flow in, and alleviate that so I can go to my working set pain-free. If that's what works, that's good. That's not a... If it works, it's not a wrong answer when it comes to warming up.
But it doesn't mean it should be something that everybody would be doing. It means it's suitable for me, but not everybody.
Correct. There's like, it's just like deadlifting and squatting. There are general rights and wrongs that everyone needs to adhere to. And within that, there's everyone's individual technique due to their proportions. Warm up. You want to give everything some love. The hamstrings, the quads, the glutes, the shoulders, the chest, the back. Like there's the general overview of like, we want to get on, we want to give a little bit more attention to the things we're specifically going to be using that day. But when you find things that you do on a daily that make it so these things don't hurt when you do them, that's part of your warm-up now. It works. And it works until it doesn't. One day you might find that might not do it anymore, and then you find a new thing, be like, this works better than that did. I'm going to swap it or add it. That's the experimentation part of this, is it is your body. And there are things that work for different reasons. But at the end of the day, a warm-up that works for you is the one you got to go with. And sometimes it can't come from a coach. It can't come from PT. You have to be curious. You have to figure out, okay, I'm having, simplest of doing something like this. I'm having, my glutes feel really tight. I feel tightness when I'm trying to squat down to depth. How do I loosen up my glutes before squat? Get on YouTube, watch some things, try some things. Like, man, that was a 9-day difference. I didn't have it today and I did this. Boom. Part of your pre-squat ritual now.
Yeah, and it depends on the day. Sometimes they feel tight, sometimes they don't. So you don't always need that specific warm up, but
exactly. There are things you do every day, and then there are things you do on top of that for maybe something specific or the day that it is. Like when I'm doing clean and press, a clean and press day, for example, I'm doing all the things I do for my deadlift and squat days and the things I'm doing for overhead, because I have a very high demand out of my lower body and posterior chain and my upper body and my press. Whereas a day, if say it's a seated press day, I don't need to get my body at my lower body that deep of attention because the demand on it's going to be a little less. But that doesn't mean I'm going to neglect it. I'm still going to do my staples for my full body and then do the things that I need to do to wake up my rear delts, my upper back, my shoulders, my elbows. I'm still going to, those are going to get more attention because the demand's going to be primarily focused on them versus hamstrings, glutes, things of that nature. This is all customizable. This is there's
something that
way. The only have tos with training are effort and time under tension. When it comes to cookie cutter, and that really comes down to an oversimplification, because everything else is malleable. Deadlift form is malleable, squat form, bench form, overhead form. There are things that need to happen within that, but they're going to look a little different person to person potentially for optimization. So everything is malleable in this. It's not you're not going to pick up a book and have the answer and go, this is the way you have to do it. You might read a book on 531 and there might be a chunk of information that you're able to take away and apply that works for you. So it's, that's just what it comes down to, is you've got to apply the things that are working for you and you're getting results from when it comes to warm-ups.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Of course. Anybody else? Or are we shutting her down? It's almost shit. We're going on 4 hours. Golly.
Is that a Yeti Vortex shaker bottle you're using as a spittoon?
Yep. No, not Yeti. It's Helamix.
Oh,
it's the OG. They did it first.
Oh, gotcha.
And then everyone else copied them. It's just one of my old ones that I use as spittoon because the lid doesn't. It's not a take with me somewhere shaker because I don't trust it's so worn down it doesn't really stay tight, and I've learned that lesson.
Oh yeah. How's that for a powerful question?
There you go. That was easy. Yep, it sure is. All right, you guys. Well, I will see some of you on Saturday in Nashville, and the rest I'll catch y'all next week.
Enjoy, everyone.
Thank you.
Good evening or day, I guess, for you guys.